Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the qualifying watch-along for the 2025 Hungarian Grand Prix. Sad face, final race before the summer break. How are we all doing? Right, I'm going to do my usual, can't believe time passes, blah, blah, blah. It does seem kind of crazy we're already at the summer break. I can't quite believe how fast this season has gone already. But here we are, ahead of a month with no racing, but very much looking forward to seeing how things go in Hungary this weekend. Should be a good one if you're a McLaren fan. If you're not a McLaren fan, it might be a bit pants. But we'll see how we go. They are looking... They're looking pretty dominant, and as Martin Brundle said in the Sky coverage just a moment ago, if it stays dry today or this weekend, they are going to absolutely dominate. They will disappear on Sunday, so a track that very much suits them. Let's see. Let's have a look there. Say hello to everyone in chat before we get going into all of that. Hey to Pascal, who I believe is at the Hungaroring. He is indeed. Hey, you're having a good one, Pascal. Very jealous. A track I'd love to go to, and a city, actually, Budapest, I'd like to visit. So hopefully you've had a great week so far. Hey to Annette. Fudd says the poll shouldn't be which team, it should be by how much. Yeah, I nearly actually, as a joke this week, put McLaren, and McLaren as the options, but I didn't. Hey to Michael. Hey to CPB. Says, did you guys hear that? Did you guys... should we try again? Did you hear... Guys, Jamie Chadwick is being harsh according to Sky. I don't know what she said, CPB, but hop in the chat and let me know what she said, and I'll tell you if it's harsh or not. I assume she just didn't... kiss the backside of the British drivers or something, I don't know. Hey to Adrian as well. Says, are the Hungaroring greatest circuit of them all? Good to see Oscar gunning it during free practice. Let's hope he doesn't push it too hard during quali. McLaren should dominate this weekend, hopefully. I said in my preview, actually, Adrian, that the Hungaroring is a strange one for me, because growing up it was just a bit of a flat weekend. It wasn't a very exciting race, and then sort of in more recent years in particular, but over time it has definitely become a better track for racing. And it's sort of a race I tend to look forward to, quite enjoyable. So a lot of people disagree, but some agreed. So just thought I'd mention that one. Hey to Jithu, to Dave the Fish as well. I feel like it's been a while, Dave, but there you go. Hey Dave, hope you well. RC says, I'm doing my first race with new glasses. Join the club, mate. These are actually only reading glasses, but I need to get my eyes tested properly for some proper glasses, because I wear these basically all the time now, because I'm blind as a bat. Kevin says, Sean is now a Haas fan. I am today. I'm back in the Mercedes gear tomorrow. I like the Haas merch and I like the Mercedes merch, so sue me. I do love Esteban Ocon as well, so I thought with it being the summer break, we'd give Ocon some love. Can Lando get pole with a circuit suiting him, or will Oscar turn the tables, is what Jithu says. That's a big question, isn't it? Piastri topping practice this morning. Run through the times in just a second, but it has been McLaren 1-2 all weekend. And Craig says, evening all. Hey Craig, hope you well, mate. If I've missed anybody, sorry, but I think I've got everybody in there that's coming on. Let's run through this practice 3 result, then we can start speculating about... I think they said Christmas then for some reason, but qualifying would do, wouldn't it? Oscar Piastri topped this morning's FP3 session, first one of the weekend for him. Lando Norris actually pretty much topping the rest of the weekend with his teammate second. It's just been McLaren. Little bit closer today. Little bit for everybody else. Still a long way off. Charles Leclerc third, 3.5 tenths off. Lewis Hamilton just a few thousandths back in fourth. Antonelli fifth. Alonso and Stroll up there in sixth and seventh place. So they've obviously painted their McLarens green. Russell eighth. Bortoletto ninth and Hulkenberg 10th. Great stuff for Sauber. So great weekend hopefully for Pascal there at the Hungaroring. 11th for Bearman. 12th for Max Verstappen. 1.2 seconds off the pace of the McLarens. He is not happy in that car at all. And as they were saying on Sky, it's not the usual, oh dear, we've got no grip. Oh, look, all of a sudden we've got speed. They're really struggling with the car this weekend. Colapinto 13th, Lawson in 14th, Sainz 15th, and Albon 16th. I think there's more pace in that Williams. Certainly Albon, he did his lap on the mediums. Ocon 17th, Gasly 18th, Tsunoda 19th, and Hadjar in 20th place. So hopefully Ferrari are in the mix this weekend, but we've been here before, so fully expecting Q2 knockouts for both of them, because you know what it's like. But yeah, the big surprises really this morning were Aston Martin. And Sauber doing a great job as well. But I will say, Fernando Alonso missed FP1 due to some pain in the muscles in his back, I believe. But he is... from the interview, I think I was sort of half listening to the interview, because I'm currently editing videos for the summer break while I'm off. So I'm sort of watching things as I'm doing other things. And I think he was saying something about how the problem hasn't gone away. It's just he's fit enough now to race. So whatever it is, it worked because it was 6th place this morning. Let's see if he can do that in qualifying. That would be quite the story, wouldn't it? It really, really would. Where was CPB? So CPB says something about rookies needing to be more consistent. I'm assuming Kimi and Antonelli. I don't think that's harsh. I've got a video that I've recorded. I'm going to edit that this afternoon about Isack Hadjar that's going out the second week of the summer break. And even in that, I say that, arguably Rookie of the Year. I think he is Rookie of the Year. But the last few races haven't been great and he needs to find consistency again. I don't think it's harsh to say that rookies need to find consistency, especially 14 races into the season, We can cut them some slack for the first few, but pressure builds as the season goes on. You get more experience. You need to step it up. But I think Kimi Antonelli, he's one that I'm hoping has a good weekend. I think he needs it, not just for to get his season back on track, but for him personally. He was very, very emotional in Spa, and admitted that he just had no confidence in the car. Helmut Marko confirming that, I believe, over the weekend. But yeah, hopefully he can have a good weekend and get himself back on track, because he's look, I'd say it every week. It was a year too early for him. I will maintain that. I think that's been proven, but the potential's there. So get it right and he'll be fine. But yeah, it's not... there's nothing controversial about saying rookies need to be consistent or more consistent. It's an opinion for starters, but yeah. I think Franco Colapinto, he was in the rookie report, which was interesting, because I wouldn't... A bit like Liam Lawson, he sort of is and sort of isn't a rookie. He did races last year, but he's going to get more this year, and I don't know. I wouldn't have included him, but that's up to them, isn't it? Yes, Duckcross says, Sean cursing Haas. Thanks, buddy. No worries. Anything to ruin people's weekend if I can. I'll always try my best. He said summer break is coming up, so he will rest then and not now. Yep, that's right, Jithu. Thank you. I thought so. It was something about that because he was talking. I think he said something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing a bit, normal people, so us muggles, we could sit at home for a week and rest our back and we'd be fine, whereas as a racing driver he can't, because he's come straight from Spa to Hungary. So rest it up over the summer and be better for next year. Next race, which we Zandvoort, which a track I really enjoyed. But I think Martin Brundle, on Martin Brundle's comments, or was it Anthony Davison? It might have been Anthony Davison actually, who was saying, was it time catching up with Fernando Alonso? And you sort of, when you watch the F1, sometimes you just can't help but roll your eyes. And he said, that's why Jackie Stewart's not racing in F1 anymore, because time catches up with you. I mean, yeah, that and the fact he's 86, but or something like that. It's quite the different scenario, but I get the point he's making. I don't think a few muscle spasms in your back or whatever is time catching up with you. I slipped a disc when I was 22 and never recovered from it properly, so that's not really time catching up with it. But anyway. Yeah. Is the Prem back in this summer break? Yes, it should be, because the League One started yesterday, didn't it, RC? So it should be. Looking forward to that fight with relegation. Let's not get into that, though. I hope you've seen the Max video with Chris Harris on YouTube. If not, please give it a try. It's pure gems, as Jithu. It's on my watch list on my personal account, Jithu. So that'll be something that I'll probably watch, if not in the week this week, during a lunch hour. It'll be next weekend when I start my holiday, basically. So yeah, looking forward to watching that, because I like Chris Harris as well, so that should be good. I'm not sure what I want to talk about really. It's sort of difficult when you've got a back-to-back, because we talked about it all last week and not an awful lot's changed. Max Verstappen has said that he's definitely staying at Red Bull next season, without sounding like, without going through the whole I told you so. I mean, I did say 4 weeks ago, whatever, that I was 99.999% sure he was staying where he was, and he did. So I'm not surprised by that at all. I don't know what the Horner antics, what part that played in it. Maybe that was the bit that made him change his mind or made him want to stay. But I think, I think the most interesting comment to come was George Russell saying, again, paraphrasing slightly, something along the lines of, it's the last few weeks haven't been great for him or Kimi Antonelli when it comes to feeling secure in your seat, which I thought was actually way more interesting than what Max Verstappen said, because all of a sudden you think, hang on a minute, what's going on behind the scenes here? Could we get a massive shock? Could Max stay at Red Bull and Russell still bogs off? Who knows? He won't. He's staying. PlanetF1.com understands and all that, that he's got a multi-year deal sorted. So probably announced next week. I'll be honest, hoping it's announced next week so I can do something on it, because that saves me a job. But yeah, not surprised at all that he's staying. I enjoyed the speculation. There was a point where I thought, oh, maybe he might, but I've never really got the feeling that he was going. So, looking forward to Monday when he announces he's going to Haas or something. So there you go. Yeah, I don't know. It's all about Jos, says Kevin. Yeah, Jos is. Yeah. Jos is Jos. What do you think that Ferrari extended Verstappen's contract? That's a good point, Pascal. I think it's a good thing, as Ferrari needs continuity. Relieved. Again, in a video that I'm making on Leclerc, actually, for the summer break. Well, a video I'm making about Leclerc, which I thought was unique, and then I realised that actually a lot of people have the same opinion of me. So I was like, oh, dear, never mind. Still going to make it, though. But I do say in that one that I'm glad that he's staying, because I don't, of all the things Ferrari need to change, it's not their team principle. How many times have they changed team principle and it's made no difference whatsoever? It's about, there's something culturally different. Well, it is just a culturally different place, but within the culture of Ferrari that is a part of these problems. It's not Vasseur, it's not necessarily Arriva Bene or Binotto or I can't even think of them all. There were loads of them. There's been loads of them, but it's not all down to them, is it? Fred Vasseur, massively experienced in F1, a proper F1 guy who knows what he's doing, has been a very good team principal elsewhere in both Formula One and through junior categories, has brought young drivers through, absolutely brilliant guy. Yet we have the same problems that we were having before. The bad strategy calls, the tetchy drivers on the radios, the car not where it needs to be. So this isn't a Fred Vasseur problem. This is a Ferrari problem, and they can't seem to resolve it. So there's no point putting in another team principal right before a new regulation era as well. It's just really stupid. So they approached Horner, as we understand it. They approached Horner. He said no, he was staying at Red Bull. That lasted long. He's now gone, but he's not even been linked with Ferrari at all since. It's all been Alpine and gardening leave. So, yeah, not expecting any change there. So has that forced Ferrari's hand at all? I don't know, but I don't understand the point in even thinking about getting rid of him. I said this in a short, didn't I, a few weeks back now, that he's doing a good job. He has made changes and he's trying to make those cultural, I hate that word, cultural changes, but you're fighting a losing battle with Ferrari. So, yeah, but next year could be their year. Oh, dear. I've said that a few times over the last God knows how many years. So, yeah. Horner has a problem with his phone. Let's not get into that again, Craig. It's about to be 20 years. That's crazy for a World Drivers' Championship team or World Constructors' Championship team with such heritage. Yeah, is it? It's not far off 20 years, is it? It's 2020, yeah, 2007 for Kimi, 2008 for the Constructors, so it's a long time. But Ferrari have done this before. I mean, they went 21 years between World Championships before. Was it Jody Scheckter to Michael Schumacher? So it's happened before, so it could happen. It can and will happen again, but Fred Vasseur's not the problem, as I keep saying, so yeah. We've answered that one. Ferrari knew Fred's contract was good to nip the Horner speculation before it became a flood, says Fudd. That's a very good point, actually, yeah, because that's the sort of thing over the summer break. Bearing in mind that, I understand as a content creator, and now I'm part of, Planet Sport, I understand that, you've got to try and get people interested in something because it's a long break. So if Ferrari have come out and said Vasseur's staying, that's one way in. Max Verstappen, that's one way in gone. Max Verstappen has said he's staying, that's another way in gone. So it just takes the pressure off a bit, doesn't it? It takes the speculation away. So expect a lot over the next few weeks of who's going to be Red Bull's number 2 next year, what's George Russell doing, and, ranking the drivers by height or something like that. Is that fan? That fan is on. I hope it's not too loud. It's quite close, but yeah. Did you watch the Damon Hill documentary? I did, CPB. I've been recommending that for a while to people. It's actually really good. Although I do feel like Michael Schumacher was framed a bit, not poorly, because I love Michael Schumacher, who's my hero, but he was a knob at times. Let's be honest, and someone go, oh, I think you find that's a cheat, Sean. But anyway, but I think, definitely I think Simon Lazenby was involved in that, so certainly a Hill fan made that one. But no, it was a really, really good, film. Or I think it's documentary, isn't it? Documentary film. So I highly recommend it. It's on Sky Docs. I assume it'll be elsewhere as well in the world. But yeah, hopefully you'll give that a watch over the summer break. Lots of good stuff. If you haven't watched it yet, I'm sure most of you have. Give Rush a watch. Senna, the extended version is great. The Michael Schumacher documentary. Oh God, that was hard to watch. There's the Kimi Antonelli one, isn't there, on Netflix, which I saw the other day, which I didn't know was a thing, so that'll be watched over the summer break. Lots of stuff as well. The Max Verstappen, Chris Harris one, the Damon Hill thing. Lots to get you through the summer break, and obviously content on the channel as well. We've got lots coming up. I'll have 4 videos out in the 2 weeks. I'm off. Elizabeth's doing a couple, and Sam will be on shorts duty, so lots of stuff. Yes, that's it. The seat, RC, the Antonelli one. The seat, yeah. Yeah. Schumacher loved driving into Williams cars. Well, if they'd been a bit quicker, you know. At least it will say it was reading 5 million articles during the break, says Annette. I haven't seen the Prost one. It's on my planner. I have recorded it, so I will watch it at some point. But, yeah. Vasseur did a great job at Sauber from rock bottom in 2017 to P6 in 22. I believe he will help to bring Ferrari back to the top, says Pascal. He's just done a good job wherever he's been, and he's one of those that's got so much respect as well, Max Verstappen. Having a bit of fun in the garage there, but yeah, no, he's got a lot of respect from people as well. Brought through a lot of young drivers and nurtured talent. I think of some of the teams some of the drivers he's sort of worked with over the years. I mean, look at the grid now. There's drivers on there. I mean, Charles Leclerc, for example. So I think did he work with Lewis Hamilton when he was a junior as well? So top guy, deserves time at Ferrari, is doing a good job, but. It's all about context and perspective as well. McLaren are gone. No one is stopping McLaren winning the championship this year. It will be Oscar Piastri or Lando Norris. Last year, they had the best car in the end as well and won the Constructors. Ferrari were only 14, 15, 16 points off winning the title, somewhere around there last year, and they're second in the Constructors now. So given that we've got a dominant team in McLaren, second is probably the best Ferrari could hope for this year, and that's where they are. So in context of the season, they're having a good season. But again, as I say in this Leclerc video I'm doing, it somehow feels like this is the worst Ferrari season ever when you look at what's been said and the way they're talking and how much of a mess it feels, but it's actually really not. They're doing okay. Lewis Hamilton's struggling. There's no denying that, but that was sort of inevitable to a point. But yeah, I just think look at the context of the season and Ferrari are doing all right, but it still doesn't feel like it. It's very strange. It's very strange. This is a jaunty question, but do you think Ross Brawn and Rory Byrne could have been successful with Ron Dennis at McLaren in the late 90s? Yeah, that might be. It might be. Definitely a jaunty question. Yeah, I can't think really, to be fair. Warren says Fred's a calm influence, helps everyone around him focus. Yep. Renault should be Piastri. No loyalty shown. Fair enough. And I saw RC said, where are you off on holiday? Bali. No. If it's above 10 degrees, I'm not going there. Simple as that. I'm going on holiday to the North Pole or something like that. That'll do. Yeah, I essentially, the biggest part of the holiday for me, my 2 weeks off is just I'm not going to log on to anything at all to do with the channel or social, so I'm just going to ignore it. Not that I don't love you all, I do, but yeah, my last break was Christmas, so I am, and the next one will be Christmas, so I'm well ready to just ignore everything online. Yeah. Ferrari's got to sack the entire strategy team. This has gone on long enough and they continue to drop the ball and bottle races for both drivers, says, is it Sid or Side? I'm sure you'll let me know if I'm wrong. Yeah, it's like I say, it's not Fred Vasseur, is it? But then he's also got to have, if he has the power to do so, he's also got to have the... not the guts, that sounds really bad, but the confidence to be able to move people on who aren't doing their job properly and bring other people in. So, you know, who could you... Do you go... You know, Red Bull are... Falling apart is maybe harsh, but I don't think we're far from that. Do you go and raid Red Bull for some talent there on the strategy side of things, or do you shop elsewhere and maybe bring them in? But Ferrari, like, for the most part, to be very Italian, don't they? I know they're not completely Italian. Fred Vasseur's French, for God's sake, but yeah. The music's kicking in, so let's get everything. I'll put the sound on for me so I can hear it. I can't obviously put the sound on for you because, you know, yeah. And as always, no on-track footage for obvious copyright reasons. I'm so close to the money I need to buy it. Just about £999,999,999 away from being able to do it. So we should be good. It'll happen one day. You never know. But yeah, so all good. Stuff on the screen now is from the awesome folks over at Multiviewer for F1. Links in the description as always. Please do go check them out. I'm sure many of you have already anyway. Lots of data over there, and thank you to those guys for letting us use their data on stream for the qualifying and race watch-alongs. Appreciated as always. So ready for this one. 18 minutes for session 1, of course, 15 for 2 and 12 for 3. Let's see who's going to get through. I'm going to end the poll early today. Done it. Thank you for your votes. I always forget. Which team is going to take pole position? Hey, it's about as close as it looks in practice. 82% of you say McLaren, 9% say Ferrari, 6% say Red Bull, 1% say Mercedes. Get your qualified predictions in. Your top 3, and then just before Q3 we'll do them again so you can revise them in case your driver's got knocked out. Who do you think is going to get pole position today? It'll be a McLaren, I would imagine. I went with Piastri on Thursday, so I'll stick with that for now. But Norris is looking very good here. A track that should suit his driving style quite nicely as well. So could do all right. Could Lando Norris. He's going to be on the front row unless something goes horribly wrong. But watch Max Verstappen. And I say that because it's Max Verstappen. He's been nowhere all weekend. And you just... Wow, sorry. And you just can never discount him. He'll find something. He'll be up there somewhere, but I think pole's a bit of a stretch. They're just showing the changes at the Hungaroring. They've done so much in a year. It's such an impressive turnaround. Apparently, they started ripping the paddock building down pretty much immediately after F1 left last year, and they've done all that in the space of a year, and it's really good. It looks great. It looks fantastic, and I'm so happy to see it get a bit of a life breathed into it. So, rain is in the air. It's in the distance. You can see it falling on the TV, so it is possible. We'll see what happens. 33% humidity, but it is warm. 50 degrees track temperature, 29 degrees air temperature. So, interesting day. Key to this one really is about unlocking, the key to unlocking the lap is where you manage your tyres. Do you have a slower first sector and make up the time elsewhere, or do you do it other way around? You know, better final sectors, slower final sectors. You've got to manage your tyres early doors. Those rain clouds are closer than I thought they were from the long shot there. Interesting. Rain is around. It is a threat. It has been all week, but a lot of forecasts saying the session should stay dry, but we'll see what happens. Pascal says Piastri, Norris, Hamilton, and Sauber Q3, hopefully for his quali predictions. I have a feeling this will be Lando's weekend, says CPB. Fud says Piastri over Norris by less than 0.05, then Antonelli more than half a second back. Yeah, there was some talk on Sky that Norris was lifting in the final corner during practice yesterday. So I think he's got more pace than that even than we've seen. Piastri, Leclerc, Norris for Craig. Leclerc is going to win, says Kevin, if only. Norris, Piastri, Leclerc, says Peter. Hey Peter, hope you well, mate. Ginger says history, this isn't the best track for Max. Yeah, it's still Max though. It's still Max. You know what he's like. The two McLarens are going to do a centre cross, says Kevin. I assume at some point rather than specifically this weekend. Yeah, I can't help but feel McLaren have gone all out for this season because they know next year's going to be tough with Mercedes, manufacturer team, and others as well. Inevitably going to be quick, so go all out for this one. And that's what they've done. A bit like Red Bull in 2013, I think. Red Bull put the RB19 engine in the car now, and that's staying, says CPV. The poll question was as over after the first 5 people voted. Yep. Max out in Q2, says Fud. Piastri, Norris, Russell. Merck will come into it as the temps drop. Good shout from Warren, that one. I think there is more pace in that Mercedes than maybe Russell showed this morning. I can't remember what tyre was on, actually. But yeah, rain isn't expected to hit, but it is hovering around, so keep an eye on it. RC says Norris, Piastri, Leclerc. Farting Golf Ball says, who's hungry for Hungary? Always. Sticklebrick says, Norris on pole, Piastri to embarrass him on lap 1 of the race again. And Russell is due for a podium, says CPB. Yeah, it's interesting today. The battle today really feels like, as the green light is on for Q1, we are go in qualifying, but the battle today really does feel like Ferrari versus Mercedes for best of the rest. Again, you can't rule out Max Verstappen. You know what he's like. He'll hook up something and surprise us all, but I'd be surprised if he makes... Would I be surprised if he made the top 2 rows? Top 4? Maybe he's looking at a 5th or 6th place perhaps, but I don't know. I won't rule him out. He's one of those. Hamilton at the peak of his powers was the same. You just couldn't. He'd be nowhere all weekend, and then he'd do a Singapore style lap. You all know the one I'm talking about, where you watch it on board and you just go, wow, where the hell did that come from? So yeah, we'll see what happens. We've done our predictions. It's looking absolutely lovely at the Hungaroring as well. That grandstand's pretty cool. I've said it before. I'll say it again. And I'm not having a go because I know the way they're funded is a bit like a lot of things in the UK, very unique. But Silverstone could learn a lot from this sort of thing. I know Silverstone's amazing. I love it as a circuit. I love it as a venue. But you look at their grandstands, they still look like temporary grandstands that have just become permanent. So it'd be nice to see a nice big grandstand like that opposite the Silverstone wing. But of course they can't now because they built a fucking hotel there. Because, cha-ching. It's all very nice, Kevin. It looks great. It looks like and I think they've got more to do. I think once this is all over, they're going to be pulling stuff down again for the next year. So they're really celebrating their new contract. Sainz and Albon out on track, by the way. Track map's not massive. I apologise for that. But that is the layout they've got on the F1 driver tracker, and of course therefore on a multi-viewer one, which makes the icons a little bit too small, and I can't make it any bigger because then it disappears behind the overlay, and if I flip it then the corner numbers are the wrong way, and yeah, so if it's a bit too small, let me know, and if you're not bothered about corner numbers, I will flip it tomorrow and you might have an upside down 2 or something so we can make it a bit bigger for the race. But yeah, that's kind of just the layout of it, unfortunately. Yeah, let me know. I can change it for tomorrow if it's too small. I prefer to see Brands Hatch upgraded to modern F1 standards and see that on the calendar against a sticker brick. What? Yeah, Donington would be quite fun. That'd take a lot of upgrading, wouldn't it? That's not... Is it still sponsored by Simply Sausages? Was it Donington that was sponsored by them? I'd be surprised if Yuki makes Q2, says Warren to RC. Oh yes, best laps. Thank you. I'm so pleased, Fabian, that you're here, or Fabian. You know who you are. If it wasn't for you, I'd have no idea what best lap. I did this last week. I left it on last lap for quali, and it made no sense in the end. So there we go. There's your best lap. Thank you again, mate. Appreciate that. Been watching you since the beginning. Never knew you were a middle-aged guy like me. Love it. New microphone. You sound slightly different. Usually at this point, James, I'd turn around and go, middle-aged? I'd like to go a bit further than 80, but with my family history, probably not. But yeah, no, appreciate that, mate. Thank you for your support. I've had it for a couple of years now, this one. It's the cliche Shaw SM7B. So, yeah, I don't know. I might sound a bit gravelly because I've got a bit of a sore throat and a cold coming on because I've got loads of recording to do over the next few days, so of course I'm not doing very well. That's the way my life is. So I'm 39, RC, mate. Keep up. 40 next year. Apparently it's not as scary as I think it is, according to my dad, who's 67. Easy for him to say. But yeah, no, thank you for your support, mate. Appreciated, as always. CPB says, if Kimi has a terrible weekend, do you think he's at risk of being dropped for Bottas at Zandvoort? No, I don't think so, CPB. Mercedes aren't traditionally that ruthless with their drivers, are they? So should be okay for the rest of this season. I think he'll get next year as well. You've got to remember with the new regulations, it's a whole new car. It's a fresh start for everybody. It may... Next year's car might suit Tsunoda really, really nicely if he was to stay, or it might suit Antonelli much better. So I think I don't think the grid's going to move too much. I said this last week. I really don't. So, yeah. I think RC, are you like 21? Maybe now? I think. I might be way off. I remember you being 19 not all that long ago, so... It doesn't make me sound weird at all. But anyway, Albon fastest on a 117.4. Sainz a 118.2. You're 26. That's the realisation from Sean as to how long he's had this channel, because RC's been around for a long time on this channel. And I still remember the day he was born. Yeah, 117.4 from Albon. We're going to get quicker than that. Lots of cars out on track. Antonelli, Russell, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Colapinto and Gasly all in the pit lane, but they are queuing at the end of the pit lane, so they'll be coming out with everybody else. So, yes. Verstappen on his lap, 28.1 to beat in the first sector. These are just your bankers, really, of course. It's about getting through to Q2 for a lot of these drivers. We're really watching the bottom 5 rather than the top 5, but we'll keep an eye on the fastest times because it might give us some clues. Verstappen 4/10 up in the first sector on Alex Albon. In fact, I think it's more than that. I'm looking at the wrong one. Oh, this is old lap. No, it's 4/10. Sorry, ignore me. I was right the first time. I'm surprised we roll out the softs in this heat, says Peter. Yeah, it's like I said earlier, it's about managing these sectors, isn't it? Where do you want to take all the life out your tyres? It's about putting the whole lap together rather than just driving as quickly as you can. Which, you know, we want to see them driving as quick as they can. It's racing after all, but actually it adds a little bit to the session, doesn't it? So I've been quite enjoying this season. A couple of times we've been seeing the mediums in qualifying because they're the slightly quicker tyre or as good as. It's sort of added a bit of strategy almost to it. But there's Verstappen, look, a 1:16.3. A second quicker than Albon, a good lap. But Lando Norris is a little bit quicker. That's not a good lap from Tsunoda there, actually, to be fair. A 1:16.5, 2/10 off Verstappen. I don't want to give too much away in my videos from the summer break that have been recorded, but it's all I'm thinking about at the moment. So I did actually say that it felt like Lauren McKee's, based on the Spa weekend alone, was maybe leaning more towards a 2-car team. Is this all moving back towards Tsunoda, or is it just a good track for him? We'll find out as the weekend goes on. He might still get knocked out in Q1 yet, so let's not get too excited. And there we go. Piastri 1:15.53, nearly 4/10 quicker than Norris in second. Verstappen nearly half a second further back, so 8/10 off the fastest time there for Verstappen. And I reckon we're going to be well into the 14s for pole. Late 14s, might get into the mid 14s. But I think more than anything, it's just nice to see Yuki a couple of tenths off. So Hamilton goes third, only 200ths off Norris this time. So is that a bad lap from Norris, a great lap from Hamilton, a great lap from Piastri, or a bit of both? Bearman ahead of Ocon at the moment. We're going to watch Oscar Piastri here. Is just clipping the gravel. And by clipping the gravel, I mean throwing gravel everywhere. Has Hamilton done the same? Hamilton says there is. We might see, you know, some red flags in this session just to sweep up some of that gravel. Sorry, I've got an itchy nose. I'm not picking it. I promise. Craig says Max's car must be terrible if Tsunoda's that close to him. That is both harsh but also quite funny, Craig. I like that. Leclerc goes 6th. Look at Alonso in 4th and Stroll in 5th. There's some real pace in that Aston Martin. Are they using next year's car already? Hadjar goes 5th. Really good lap from him there. Half a second off the fastest time, but only 700ths off Alonso in 4th. Where's the Aston pace come from? Have they got an update this weekend that I've missed? Chat, maybe. Yeah. Antonelli, 200ths down the middle sector, was fastest in the first sector, so that's where he used the tyres up there. Let's see if this slowly gets quicker as the lap goes on. Russell's doing the opposite. CPB says Adrian Newey, 2 words. Yeah, but is he actually bothering with this year's car? I understood that he was totally focused on next year and not worried about this year's car, because what have Aston got to gain, really, from putting much development on this car? They might have changed that since that was last out there. As Russell goes 2nd, Antonelli 3rd, splitting the McLaren, so we know there's more pace in Norris's car than that, for sure. Everyone on new tyres, by the way, just to confirm. Nobody on used tyres. Hadjar's great. That's why I had to do a video on him for the summer break. Best chance to really sit and talk about him is Colapinto goes 10th, by the way. Gasly only 15th. Good lap there from Franco. Hulkenberg up to 11th. But yeah, no, I think, yeah, some things had to be said. So the Merc decides to turn up early, says RC. Yeah, they're here now. It'll be between Mercedes and Ferrari, I think, for second row. Be kind of nice, wouldn't it, to see Ferrari, Mercedes, and give us some Something to look forward to tomorrow, because those McLarens are going to disappear. Hopefully they'll squabble a little bit. I'm going to make the point again. It's a close championship. There is 16 points in it, but there's a lot of points available across the race weekend. So we're having a great championship fight here, but there's no bite in it. As soon as you remove Max Verstappen from the championship conversation, it all gets a bit flat. And Piastri and Norris, there's no bite there yet. There's no rivalry, because they're still good friends and they're still good teammates, and they've come close to colliding. And then when they have, it's been, Norris saying it's all my fault, and Piastri only up to his mistakes. It's just there's no tension there really. So it's one of those. If Piastri wins the title, I'll be very happy. If Norris wins the title, I'll be very happy. Whereas it's much more fun when you want one to win over the other because you can't stand the other guy, or because they're getting tetchy with each other. Or, I don't know. There's just no bite in it. So hopefully some wheel banging this weekend and set us up for a cracking final 10 races, and then maybe a couple of collisions just to spice it up a bit. Otherwise, it's just going to be a case of, after you, sir. No, after you. And that's boring. I'm not asking, civilized adults. I'm not asking them to get into part firme and start, headbutting each other or anything. That's not what I'm asking for. But, although, it'll annoy people. So I guess it'd be fun. Something to talk about. Just a bit more bite there would be nice. It'll come. The closer this gets and the longer this goes on, the more likely it is they're going to fall out and collide. So, and not just running into the back of each other because, why not? It's a bit of a ceasefire till the last race when it's winner takes all, society canvas. Yeah. I hope we don't get too many papaya rules and team orders. Just let them race. They collide with each other, deal with the consequences. I actually said to Sam yesterday, I was on a call with him, and I said to him yesterday that we almost need. I know McLaren fans will hate the thought of this. We almost need Piastri and Norris to collide and take each other out this weekend, and for Max Verstappen to win, to spice it up a bit and bring him back into play. But one, I don't see them colliding and take each other out, and two, even if they did, I don't see Max Verstappen winning based on the pace of that Red Bull. So, yeah, it's a shame, but hopefully. Yes, MSC Biles. How slow are the RBRs? Heard FP3 was bad, but still. I mean, I said Tsunoda, close to Verstappen, might still got knocked out in Q1, so let's calm down. He's 17th at the minute and out. So, yeah, Citizen Erase does not want that. Max hasn't had enough. He hasn't had enough. Look at the car behind me, you'll know why I'm saying that. He hasn't. I wanted to have 10. Max will win more. I'm sure of it. But then I will say, I say Max will win more championships. I also said the same about Sebastian Vettel. After he'd had a difficult year at Red Bull, he would win more championships. He never did. So, can't take my word on that. Just some spice. Just a bit of I don't want Senna Prost levels necessarily, but, just a bit more bite in there. But it'll come. It'll come. So, stop moaning, Sean. Enjoy the racing. Here goes Lance Stroll, one of the performers of the weekend so far, as is Fernando Alonso. Aston Martin looking good. Max's undies on pole, mate. Why did he throw him out of the cockpit during free practice? They'll end up in someone's face. I know it. To be fair, I think it was a towel, Adrian, but I love the idea that he just took his pants off and threw them across the track for no reason. That would have been quite funny. A good point from CPB there, just saying that even comments from Adrian Newey in passing could probably give them a bit more time at the Aston team. So there is that as well. Walking past and going, oh, if I were you, I wouldn't do that. I'd do this, and then carrying on might make a difference. Alonso Purple in the first sector. We're into the final 4 minutes now. So we are ready for this final shootout now for who's going to get through. Sainz, Tsunoda, Bearman, Gasly and Ocon in the bottom 5 at the moment. This is going to chop and change a lot. I expect the times to be a bit like a fruit machine soon, tumbling all over the place, or it's going to be really boring and they're the 5 that are out and nothing happens. But let's wait and see. Here comes Alonso. Alonso Purple in the middle sector, 0.2 quicker overall than Oscar Piastri. Lance Stroll goes third. He'll need to pull over and mop up the nosebleed. He shouldn't be up there. Goodness me. Here comes Fernando Alonso. Round the final corner. To the line. And does go fastest. By nearly 0.3 of a second over Oscar Piastri. I've got a screw stuck in my tyre, I think is what he said there Ocon. So that's something to keep an eye on. We won't spot it from here, I wouldn't have thought. But where on earth has this come from Aston Martin? Have they bought 2 McLarens and painted them green? Have they done what the Silverstone team did with the pink Mercedes? Have they got a green McLaren? You never know. But to be fair, I mean, that's a really good time, 15.2, because we reckon, what, high 14s for pole? Maybe a little bit quicker. That's a really good lap in Q1. And the track's only going to get quicker, so good stuff there. And this is, Max Verstappen's in trouble here. So we could get a surprise. Ferrari at the moment, it is only Q1, not where you'd expect them to be. The McLaren's out on used tyres, by the way. So I'd love to see Fernando get a win. I'm the same as you, Kevin. Would love to see it. I'm just not sure anybody stops McLaren this weekend. The only hope, as I said in the preview, is that with it being a little bit trickier to overtake here than other tracks, if someone can get a surprise pole, it might just give McLaren a headache tomorrow. But I just don't see it. I mean, look at the lap times now that Piastri's pumping in. Quicker marginally than Alonso in the middle sector. Bit quicker in the first sector than that. Verstappen is improving. Piastri goes fastest. Only a 15.2 though. 700s quicker than Piastri. So than Alonso, sorry. So there is pace there. Norris only third. 2.5 tenths off Alonso. 3 tenths off his teammate. We'll keep an eye on Yuki Tsunoda here. Yuki is improving. 4 tenths up on Albon, which is the time he needs to get through. So looking okay here. Max Verstappen's going to complete his lap. Over the line he goes. And it's a 1:15.7 for P6. That Red Bull is not quick, is it? Max ain't getting pole today. Round the final corner comes Tsunoda. Does a 15.8. Only a tenth off. 10.5 off Max Verstappen. So Tsunoda's got some pace this weekend. 16.1 is the projected knockout time. So everybody, really, from Hamilton down, needs an improvement. But certainly Leclerc down. Track's getting quicker. Hulkenberg up to 11th place. Good lap there. What's Bortoleto going to do? He's impressed me this season, actually, when you look at his numbers. He goes up into 5th place. 5th place for him. 1:15.586. Sainz improving. Gasly improving. Lawson improving. I believe. In fact, Lawson started the lap and look at the wrong timing. Sainz goes 7th. Colapinto improving. This is, track temperature's come down. Track temperature's down by 8 degrees since the start of the session, by the way. That's quite a drop. So this is maybe playing a part. If Charles Leclerc's in trouble here, he needs his lap. Leclerc needs this. He cannot afford a mistake. Colapinto and Lawson have started their lap, so they're okay. Colapinto goes 11th, or did start their lap, sorry. What's Lawson going to be able to do? He's the next one, but Colapinto, good lap that, up into 11th. Hamilton down on Piastri, but up overall. Leclerc drops into the bottom 5. Shaw's not nervous at all now, but it's purple in the first sector for Leclerc. Really good first sector, actually. So hopefully, first car to set the flag was Norris. Hopefully, he's going to be all right here, Charles. Coming through the chicane. We're on board with Hamilton. We got on board with picture-in-picture. Ocon goes 15th. He sneaks through, but I think Leclerc, unless he makes a horrible mistake, is about to get through. Bearman goes 10th, which is a heck of a lap from him. Charles Leclerc is fast enough here to get through, I think. Hamilton not comfortable, but should be okay. Famous last words. Lawson is improving. Leclerc's improving. Might put him in a spot of trouble here, but he goes up to 9th, so he's okay. Tsunoda could be the one in trouble then. It's all down to Lawson, really. Leclerc will get through. I shouldn't have said that. He has got through into 5th. It's all about Liam Lawson here. Round the final corner. Can he just cause Yuki Tsunoda a headache? He does indeed. Yuki Tsunoda is out. And I think that is it. It is. Yuki Tsunoda is out in qualifying 1. And that's really frustrating because he was close to Max Verstappen. But I'm going to give you the gaps here because why not? Tsunoda in 16th to Colapinto in 15th was 200ths of a second. Colapinto to Lawson, 200ths of a second. Lawson to Antonelli, 600ths. Antonelli to Bearman, 300ths. Bearman to Verstappen, 100th. Verstappen to Hamilton, 3,000ths. Hamilton to Stroll, 600ths. 200 Stroll to Sainz. 200 Stroll Sainz to Russell. 400ths Russell to Bortoletto. 4,000ths Bortoletto to Leclerc. 500ths Leclerc to Norris. It is so close out there. Had job P3, by the way. But it is Tsunoda, Gasly, Ocon, Hulkenberg, and Albon out. 1 whole second separating 20 drivers. That is close. So even though Yuki Tsunoda's out, he's still only a 10th off his teammate. 10th and a half. I think that tells you where Red Bull are this weekend, doesn't it? But wow. I think the point I'm trying to make really is Tsunoda will be very disappointed to be 16th and out, but he's closer to Max Verstappen today than he has been all season. So is there a positive in there? Or is it just that Red Bull's so bad Verstappen can't even get a tune out of it? Maybe it's that. I don't know. Albon finished last, by the way, in that session. Tsunoda, Gasly, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Albon out. Double frustration for Albon. Sainz is 8th. Frustration as well for Hulkenberg. Bortoletto up in 6th. Colapinto in 15th, so he's through. Gasly out. Ocon 18th, Bearman 12th. Tsunoda obviously 16th, and Verstappen 11th. So good stuff. But Piastri was fastest. I'd take that grid tomorrow. Piastri, Alonso, Hadjar, Norris, Leclerc, Bortoletto, Russell, Sainz, Stroll, and Hamilton. That's a fun top 10, isn't it? That's got chaos written all over it. But yeah, I think the track temperature, I said at the start, didn't I, 50 degrees at the start of the session. It's now 42.5. It's plummeted. So is the rain on its way? That could spice things up. But yeah, a good question actually, Warren. I'd like to know what happened to Albon. As I've explained before, kind of difficult when I'm doing these watch-alongs to hear what's really going on. I have to use my eyes, which is terrifying, I know. Can't really hear it because I can't have it too loud because it picks up on the stream and then we get into trouble. Start of Q2 will be delayed. That'll be the sweeping of the gravel down at turn 12, I think it is, yeah. So that's being sorted out. But yeah, no, I can't really catch what's going on radios and things, and that's the only problem with these watch-alongs because I don't want to sit here silently for 10 minutes at a time listening to radios. So very conscious of dead air, which is why I just gob off all the time and make mistakes. But, that's it. But yeah, Albon, we'll find out in his quotes. We can have a look at that tomorrow once his interviews are out post-session. I'll try and keep an eye on the group chat because usually drivers head straight to the pen when they've been knocked out and get those out of the way. So I can let you know. Just check something. So 1 second on this. I don't know what's happening here, but something's, yeah. Okay, nothing to do with F1. It's okay, it doesn't matter. There's something going on, but yeah, don't matter. Bearman and P me in turn 2, loud and clear. I saw that is what Hadjar's got over the radio there. So if Hadjar was impeded and he still ended up third, not bad at all. I really feel for Tsunoda today. Am I alone? Am I being too soft as usual? Ugh, soft. Wimp. Yeah, the use soft on Piastri and Norris was their second runs, Warren. So on their first runs, they were definitely new because I did make a comment on that when we were live, just to make sure we knew what we were doing. But those second runs were on the used, so Piastri's definitely got more time on that as this track gets better for sure. If Max goes out in Q2, it will look less bad for Tsunoda. True. If Max pulls out of Q3, it'll look a little worse. Yeah. There's just nothing between them, though, is there, in the grid? So, yeah, one apex, cost yourself a couple of hundredths, and you could go from 5th to 12th. It's that tight out there. So, this is where I might regret this in 12 minutes' time, 15 minutes' time, but this is where the best drivers can make the difference when there's just, very little margin in between each car. So, hook your laps up. But yeah, look. The analysis, which we've already had, but I'll read it again. This one's from CPB this time. It's the best analysis. Red Bull looks crap this weekend. It really is that case. So Sean's got to try and pretend he's not moody after the race tomorrow when Max Verstappen ends up 10th place and Ferrari also bottle it as well. I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm really happy, really honest. I think you guys will see through that pretty quickly. I think you know me well enough by now that if I'm grumpy, you're going to know I'm grumpy. So Can we get a breakdown of the gaps between teammates? It will be interesting to see how far they are for each team. I can't at the moment side to canvas. I might be able to go back afterwards and we'll have a look, but it's everything updates between sessions, see, so it removes the times for the drivers still in, so I can't, unfortunately, but yeah. Kevin says that CPB should be a Sky announcer. I agree. We'll get to see Grumpy Sean Face. Is it Grumpy Sean Face, just always Sean Face? Resting bitch face. I think my sister said to me once, "You've got a natural resting bitch face." I was like, "Oh, lovely, thanks. Love you too." By the way, on the top fans battle, MSC Biles is top at the moment. He is top fan from CPB, RC, Jithu, and Kevin is the top 5. I still don't know what that really means, other than the more you post and the more involved you are, the more XP you get and the higher you rank on the table, and it resets each time, but I'm not sure why. Here we are, though. Yeah. She's very charming, my sister. She's very charming. Very much says it as it is, as I do away from streams and content. I still give my honest opinion, but there are certain things I'll never say on a stream or in a video because it's just not worth the hassle or getting cancelled, quite frankly. It's just not worth it. How do I spend these XPs, Kevin? Super chats. You still have to put your credit card details in, and I think you have to start at £1,000. But yeah, you get like 1% off. You don't really. Don't you dare, Kevin. Because then that's me in trouble. That was a joke. I'll say it on Discord. No problem when I can get on there again. When I remember to get on there again. I hope everyone on Discord is okay, by the way. I'm sure they're fine, but yeah. Busy at the moment. Difficult to yeah. to find any time to breathe is what I was going to say, but that's what it feels like. We are coming up to the start of Q2, just around 15 minutes, of course. We'll lose the bottom 5 from this one, and then we go into the top 10 shootout. And let's keep everyone in check. Jolly good. I'm sure she is. Is it about now that Max subs into Lawson's car? Racing Bulls are faster here. Says, yeah, I've seen a few people talk about this idea. If Max Verstappen was in the Racing Bulls, would he be winning the championship this year? Probably a bit of a stretch there, but it would be an interesting test, wouldn't it? Q2 is underway then. We are go. So Colapinto is in Q2. The XP stuff is typical YouTube failure. They were going to link channel rewards to XP, realised it was a dumb idea, but pushed through XP anyway, says Louis. I have no idea, mate, what it's all about, but there you go. You don't want to hear me being honest, Kevin, because, yeah, I'd upset everyone in minutes. Here we go then. Cars heading straight out on track. There is, just a reminder, a bit of rain hovering around as the track drops another 1.5 degrees between sessions there. So it's getting cooler. It's clouding over as well. So rain not expected to hit, but it is in the area. And we know from Spa, I know it's a bit unique at Spa, but we know from Spa that rain in the area is sometimes enough for it to hit the track. So let's see. More like switch technical directors between the two Red Bull teams, says Addy Boy. Sky would sack me if I was a pundit, says CPB. There you go. And yeah, nothing else there. Temp drop, that means Merc gets more power. Society canvas, yeah. Someone said earlier, as the temp comes down, Mercedes will get into the mix. So Colapinto says, these guys. I assume not happy with people cutting into the queue, but you know, and the brollies are going up in the grandstand and the coats are going on. It's raining. It's raining at turn 6. Bernie Collins confirming. Oh, dun dun dun. Well, that spiced that up. All of a sudden, McLaren thinking, oh, for God's sake, we just wanted an uncomplicated weekend. It is raining. It's not officially come through that it's raining. It be dripping, but, you know, rain is rain. That is your expert analysis for the year. Rain is rain. There you go. Piastri, patch of rain passing turn 1, turn 5, essentially, is what he's told there. So these laps are important. Obviously, it's still quite warm, 28.2 air, which is about 15 degrees hotter than I like it to be. But that will dry up quite quickly if it is just a bit of drizzle. But it'll just make the track nice and greasy. So these laps are important. So here comes Antonelli through turn 5 now. It might be a bit slippy through there, but it doesn't look wet. There is a few spots of rain on the camera lens, so it is gonna. Did Antonelli cut that inside there? Is that gonna be track limits for him? But you want to get these laps in now before it gets any wetter. But good pace. Russell quick as well. Purple sector, so for Lance Stroll in the first sector. Then Alonso beats him in the first sector. So these laps are really important now. And I'm trying to work out everyone is. So Piastri's still on an outlap. Norris is on an outlap. The Red Bulls are, or the Red Bull is on an outlap. Interesting. That's a good. See, look at the spray. It's undrivable out there. It's terrible. Yeah, too much spray. Too wet. That's it. Red flag it. And we'll have to wait for 2 hours before we can go again. A drop of rain has hit the circuit. Here comes Lance Stroll. The times are slower in that sector, by the way. Stroll does a 15.6 to go fastest at the moment. Alonso's going to beat that, his teammate, quite comfortably, I think. Yeah, it's 0.3 of a second. 1:15.395. Fernando Alonso. So now what rain... No, I don't want Piastri out. Piastri's get his lap in, but yeah, rain's not too bad. It's not. Oh no, it is raining heavier at turn 1 now. I tell you what, yeah. Here is it's still okay for dries, but it is definitely wetter out there than it was a couple of minutes ago, and it looked heavier on that camera angle. But obviously, camera angles can be deceptive. Here comes Norris into turn 4. He's first sector, nearly a 1/10.5 quicker, so I think the track's okay. Like I say, quite warm, isn't it? So should disappear quite quickly. But Norris is quick here. Piastri, you'll hope, will be quick as well. Yeah, need a safety car. We need a safety car. It's just too bad out there. Colapinto had a lap time deleted. That's going to take him out of 9th place, as it is. Wasn't a great lap as Verstappen goes 6th, by the way, on used tyres. So Russell, Verstappen, Bortoleto, Antonelli, Colapinto, Leclerc, Sainz and Hamilton on a used set of tyres here, which it's brave. Piastri not as quick as Norris. Norris goes fastest 14.890. We'll see what Piastri does. He's 27.5, so a 10th down in the first sector on Norris. A bit of traffic in the middle, but Bortoleto looked like he got out of the way on the driver tracker there. Sainz goes 9th. Bortoleto is 10th at the moment. Piastri purple in the middle sector, but 900ths down overall, so he's going to be up there. Here comes Lewis Hamilton. 16... That's not quick enough, is it? 16.2. If the cut-off is 16.1 in the first session, then it'll be quicker here, won't it? So... Piastri just goes second, 0.5 off Lando Norris purple in the final sector. So maybe a little bit slipperier in the first sector there for Piastri. I don't know. Leclerc goes 10th, Hamilton already out. Obviously, those are on used tyres, so keep an eye on that one. But yeah, I think the excitement over the rain has gone. I think it's disappeared now. Track temperature down to 40 degrees. We can go racing now then, yeah. We can get qualifying sorted now. Rain stopping. Or easing off at least. Although people have still got brollies up and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, Hamilton, Sainz, Bortoleto, Antonelli and Colapinto. If it starts chucking it down now, are in trouble. But if it dries out, then we're going to get one of those last across the line Q2s, which actually I really enjoy, those last across the line sessions. Colapinto, oh yes, definitely track limits there. For sure, got it all wrong there, all swapped up. Yeah, big slide. Not even close. That's not even worth the debate. The drip has finished dropped, I think, says Sighted Canvas. Pascal's at the circuit, he can let us know. Ollie Bearman, we're looking at in the garage there. So just to confirm where we're at the moment, as I say, 16.1 was the cut-off in the first session, so you'd expect it to be quicker in this session. I mean, everyone's going to go again, haven't they? Probably apart from the McLarens, really. Focus, please, on one thing, which is to go out as soon as possible. I don't care about anything else. I want the least cost possible out exit of the pit lane, is what Leclerc has said to his team. I don't know. I'm probably reading too much into it. I don't know how you guys feel, but Charles Leclerc lately has felt a little bit At times passive-aggressive, but other times not so passive-aggressive on the radio. Very like, focus on one thing, please. I don't want many cars at the end of the pit lane. Can we try that? Is that possible? I'd love to know what he'd really like to say in that moment, but yeah. Yeah, Leclerc says that. Cut to the next scene. Leclerc behind the entire field. I did ask. He's snapped. He's just cracked. That's it now. He's gone. He sort of talks on the radio and has a little eye twitch and everything. Like, oh. Poor Charles. Bless him. We've got Aston Martin out track, so they are getting out early. You don't want any more. It's a tricky one, this one, actually, isn't it? Because the track's fine for dries. Don't get me wrong. We're not even considering anything else. The track's fine. But if the rain comes any heavier, you want to avoid that risk, so you go out earlier. But if you go out too early and the rain doesn't come and the track dries out, you're in trouble because the times are going to keep tumbling. So it's not like one of those sessions where it's either very wet or very dry. It's sort of, it's there, isn't it? Hovering around, that rain is. So yeah, don't forget, rain is rain, as I've said before. So it's because he's trying to run the team strategy from the cockpit because no one is running the strategy. Exactly. Yeah. I said this at the start of the stream, or when we were talking about Ferrari earlier. It's just Fred Vasseur, I think we're talking about, weren't we? It just, how we're still having the same debates over Ferrari strategy all these years on after all these team principles is just baffling, and just evidence that the team principle isn't necessarily the problem. So, yeah. It's lingering. Lingering is a good word, site. Lingering. Plinth. Yes, lingering is a very good word. I like that one. Here goes Lance Stroll then. Starting his... It won't be his final flying lap, but his final one on new tyres. He'll have used tyres for a second run if he wants them. Helicopter shot there, looking very cool. What race was it? Remind me, where the helicopter... Was it Portimao? Where the helicopter was causing too much of a draft for the drivers coming over a hill. I think it might be Portimao because the helicopter was the other side, wasn't it, of the hill? And then, yeah, and they were complaining about it. Unless I may have just made that may have been a dream I had 6 months ago or something, but I'm sure that happened. I'm also sure lots of things happen. So, good point. You can't mess up strategy if you haven't got a strategy. I think it may have even been Stroll who was complaining, one of those complaining about it. But the down, is it a downdraft? I mean, you've got an updraft. Is it a downdraft from a helicopter? I don't know. Whatever. Was causing problems for the drivers. If you think about, you look at that, and then you look at the, is it the subway in Singapore that causes problems with transponders and all sorts? It can be quite Mickey Mouse at times in Formula One. I kind of love that. It is a downdraft. Thank you, Kieran. I have a feeling it was Portimao though. I'm sure it was Portimao because there was that crest of, there's that hill, is that really lovely shot over the hill, and the helicopter came up the other side, and yeah, subway in Singapore, yeah. Rotor wash, says Craig. Okay. That sounds cooler, actually, than downwash. Yeah, rotor wash. I'm going with that. That'll do. Whether it's right or not, I don't know. I have to just believe you. Is that looks... Is it raining, or is that just the... It might be a misty... I don't know. No, it's not raining, is it? It's fine. All that excitement's gone. We're down to... I'm watching the track temperature down to 39.9. Alex Albon trying to squeeze out in front of a Red Bull. That Red Bull says no. The McLaren says no. His wheels over the white line here, which means he's in the fast lane. No one's letting him in. They're all squeezing past the pit wall here, which is just hilarious. And then poor Carlos Sainz has to wait anyway. And let me guess, Bortoletto is going to cut right in front of him or something, just to really annoy him. Craig says 50 hours flying choppers. There you go. We'll definitely believe Craig then. Downwash is a toilet flush, says Kevin. Backwash is what's left in your can of Coke. I know that. Or Pepsi, because Pepsi's better, but... Starts a riot. Please do drop a like on the stream, by the way, if you could. We've got 355 of you here, 46 likes. Please do leave a like. It really helps the algorithm more than I think even I realise. So that would be massively appreciated. I'd like to get to triple digits, so let's try and get that to 100. And subscribe if you're new as well. Lots to come this weekend and this season. Tommy is on the list at the moment, so thank you very much, mate, for subscribing. I'll refresh chat as well while I'm looking at this, and then we'll get ready for these final couple of minutes of Q2. Sorry, here we go again. Q2. And then, of course, it's the top 10 shootout. Do we still call it a top 10 shootout? I am. So there you go. Who's doing what? Everybody on new tyres apart from the two McLarens. So this could be as tight as the last session. Don't forget, Yuki Tsunoda knocked out. Was only actually a 10th behind Max Verstappen, or a 10th and a half. So it was tight in there and could be tight again. Kieran says, I think I'm bottom of that sub list. Maybe, Kieran. But you're here and I keep reading your comments. So, you know, bonus for you, mate. I thought I saw a spider then and nearly shat me pants. Sorry, I'm fine. It was a shadow. A shadow of a tarantula. 3/10 Norris to Leclerc at the moment. So Leclerc is improving. It's green and green, but not even coming close to threatening the McLaren. Thank you very much to Germs for subscribing. And for oh my God. Sheety, apologies, I butchered your name. You know who you are. You're on the stream, but I saw your name and I wanted to give you a shout out there. So thank you for subscribing, you two. I'm sorry I destroyed your name. You can laugh at me and call me Scene if you like, as a revenge. It's fine. Over the line goes Hamilton. Only P7, to be fair. Could get another run in, but obviously hasn't charged his batteries and he's backed off anyway. So that's the best Hamilton's going to get. 15.7 is the projected knockout time. Hamilton's just done a 15.7. Lawson goes into 6th place. Lewis here in the Ferrari that Shaw was talking about being the biggest threat to McLaren if anyone was going to threaten them. You can call me KT. I will do. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And sorry again. I'm terrible with names, unless it's like John Smith or something like that. So Verstappen half a second up on Leclerc. I don't know why we're looking at Leclerc's time there and not Hamilton's, but yeah, I think Hamilton's out. It is indeed. Russell goes into 4th. Hamilton down to 11th and out of the session. He's not on a hot lap and the clock is about to finish. Here comes Max Verstappen over the line. Goes only P8. That's not comfortable here. Piastri improving in the first sector with a purple first sector. Only yellow in the middle sector, so down. Bortoletto 10th might save Verstappen there. Antonelli out as it stands and is not on a... Oh, he might be pushing, actually. Look at the driver tracker, he might be pushing. No. We've lost Antonelli as well. Carlos Sainz could cause problems here for Bortoletto. He's the next one. Colapinto improving too. Piastri doesn't really improve. In fact, doesn't improve at all. Colapinto, only 14th. Decent lap though. 16.1. And Carlos Sainz, can he sneak through and break Bortoletto and Pascal's heart? He can't. Only 14th for Carlos Sainz. So, Kimi Antonelli out in 11th place. Ollie Bearman out in 12th. Ooh, we'll do the gaps in a minute. Hamilton out in 13th. Sainz out in 14th. Colapinto 15th. The gaps, wow. Antonelli missed out on Q3 by 6 thousandths of a second. He was 1,000th quicker than Bearman, who was only 8 thousandths quicker than Lewis Hamilton. So Lewis Hamilton, what's that? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 100th and a half, 15 thousandths off a top 10 spot. He's out. He says on the radio, every time. Yeah, I agree, Craig. You're right. Stroll up there in 3rd place. Someone's got to test that. Hi, thank you, Ivan, for subscribing as well, mate. I keep catching up at the corner of my eye today, so there you go. That's a bonus. Antonelli in fact, Antonelli's even worse for him. Now he's had a lap time deleted for track limits next lap at turn 14, so he's actually 15th, which promotes Bearman to 11th and Hamilton's 12th. Here we go. Well, this isn't turn 14. This is turn... Oh, they had a big sideways slide. So that's why we're watching turn 1. Run to turn 2. What's happened to Lewis Hamilton? This is every time. So what's he done? This is Leclerc. Oh, big swapper on the exit of 4 there for Leclerc. Yellows at turn 12 again as they clear up some more gravel. I'd like to see what happened to Hamilton's lap there, but only 12th. But Antonelli's down to 15th, like I say. This is what happens when you throw your magic undies out. Shit happens, says Adrian. Yeah, that's the problem. Throwing your pants out, it's over. But Verstappen is through into P8. So, I mean, you know, maybe that little bit of extra, that loss of weight there by getting rid of the underwear, it made a difference. I don't know. Yeah, it has got worse for Antonelli. So to confirm, Bearman now 11th, Hamilton 12th, Sainz 13th, Colapinto 14th, and Antonelli in 15th. So, yeah, Antonelli was 11th, but lap time deleted for... So what it means by track limits at turn 14 next lap is that he's come out of the final corner to go for his main lap, and he's gone wide over track limits, and they consider that an advantage for the next lap. So that's why he got that deleted. So they might review it, but it doesn't make a difference. He's still out. So top 10 is Norris, Piastri, Stroll, Russell, Alonso, Leclerc, Hadjar, Verstappen, Lawson, and Bortoletto. So Sean's prediction at the start of the session that this was McLaren going to be 1-2. Bang on. Wrong order, but bang on. And that the battle would be between Mercedes and Ferrari for the second row. It appears to be a battle between Russell and Aston Martin for the second row. So, goodness me, we could be in for a real surprise here with Aston Martin, which would be great to see. So, he did. Hamilton did sound dejected. He's got an announcement on the 8th, which a lot of people are theorising is him announcing retirement. Sure. I'll believe it when I see it, but I don't see that. It's going to be some sort of sponsorship or brand thing or something, music or fashion. It'll be something nothing to do with retirement, but you know what people are like on the old interweb. So we'll see. But he definitely sounded dejected. I don't know what the every time was. So is it a car issue? Is it a mistake under pressure? Is it a snap? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So we'll keep an eye out. I'll actually just very quickly before we do some more predictions for the next session, just check the so from Q1, Gasly, nothing to add. Albon is considering a pit lane start apparently. Ocon suggests his car is a bit different to Bearman. And Yuki feels happier because he's closer to Max despite a terrible result. I won't read what was actually put there. But yeah, so there you go. Just a little bit from the first session there. We'll get the next driver quotes in time. Thomas gets all the audios from the pen, and I'd love to be able to play them on stream for you, but I can't. And that's part of the copyright laws or the rules that come with F1 broadcast stuff. So I could just read you what the summaries are. So, but Bortoletto again. Bortoletto is out qualifying Hulkenberg this year. And don't forget how experienced Nico Hulkenberg is. So, you know, Bortoletto has been surprisingly strong this year, actually. I wasn't expecting much, but he's doing all right. So watching Hamilton's on board here with Anthony Davidson at the old Skypad, because it sounds like iPad. Yeah, a little bit of twitch at 14, or a slide on. At 13, then through the final corner. Yeah. Tyre issue is what Anthony Davidson's saying. The rears, maybe. Is this a rear limited circuit? Budapest? Hungaroring? I think it is, isn't it? Certainly the rears take an absolute battering here. How Aston Martin brought a massive upgrade package, says Sam. I don't know, Sam. Let me just check their press release from earlier in the week. I don't recall reading anything on there that was particularly... That's the team statement, Sean. They never sent me a preview. Well, that's just bloody rude. I'll see if it's in me. I might have deleted it in a huff for some reason. It happens. Belgian Grand Prix preview, Belgian report. No, nothing in the preview from them. So I don't know if they bought any updates, but there's something, isn't there? They've got to put something on that car, unless this is just a track that really suits that car. But there have been a couple of races this year Aston have kind of turned up and surprised us, but they've not. I don't think they've been this competitive in qualifying. Certainly not for a while. So I can't see there isn't some sort of update, or maybe they've bought something track specific. Maybe a track specific upgrade, which gives us maybe they're better at a sort of more Monaco level downforce track than a lower downforce. I'm just theorising. I don't know, but Sam says see something on Reddit, but take that with a pinch of salt. A Reddit-sized pinch of salt, yeah. Reddit could be great for information, but you've just got to be careful what you believe sometimes, don't you? So, one of 3 tracks at Aston is quick out, says Warren. Helmet staying on for Lewis, yeah, saw that one. Washed, by the way, Sean Mean used to be good and is not now not. I know what washed means, RC. Tongue in cheek and respectfully, you cheeky little shit. I know what washed means. I'm not that old. I'm not sat at home all week singing bloody old songs, you know. Vera Lynn. Here we go for Q3. I'll never forgive you for that now, RC. You can't be my friend anymore. It's not fair. It's just starting now, Q3. Bortoletti was living up to the hype as F2, F3 back-to-back champion. Good point. Yeah, no, he did, didn't he? Won both of them back-to-back. Yeah, so yeah, I just remember then. So I have to think then, yeah. No, yeah, you're right. It's, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't expecting... I thought with Hulkenberg as a teammate, he'd struggle. But he's actually doing an amazing job against him. So, there you go. Friendship over, yeah. I'm going to refresh the stream again. My latency's all over the place. Not my personal one. My stream one is all over the place. Sometimes you guys are in pretty good time. And other times you're a bit behind. But I imagine some of you as well have synced your streams to what you're watching so that I'm not ruining it for you. So there might be that one. So, yeah. I like... On that rain radar, everyone's staying dry except a random circle of very light rain directly over the start line consistently. Max Verstappen has been reversed back into the garage. Or was he just not... I don't know. He's got used tyres on, though. A lot of used tyres, I'd imagine. I might be wrong. I'll check it in a second. Hey, nothing wrong with Destiny's Child at all. Stroll, Leclerc, Lawson and Bortoletti all on used tyres. I think Russell possibly. The line is through the tyre. It's not updated what compound it is. It'll be soft. He might be on used as well. Qualifying head-to-head, by the way, is 7-6 to Oscar Piastri at the moment at McLaren. So that could tie up this weekend. Verstappen is on used, as I say. Just waiting to see what Russell's on. He is out there. And he is on fresh softs. There you go. Are they not called scrub tyres anymore? We can call them scrub tyres. Scrubbed tyres is easier for me to say than used tyres. So we could go with scrubbed. Not fresh. Would have been cool. Maybe. You'll probably find the team still call them scrubbed. In fact, the teams probably still refer to tyres as options and primes, because out of the 3 compounds, they'll have an option tyre, won't they, and a prime tyre. So when they're working things out, I don't know. But was that Stroll twitching now? Just caught the corner of my eye. Was watching the timing screen and not Stroll. He's on the scrubbed tyres, the not fresh ones. Alonso purple in the first sector, but obviously these guys are the first ones to get their laps in, so not too excited at this point. Washed means he's done his laundry for the week, right? Says Warren. Yeah. You have reminded me I need to put some washing on this afternoon, so thank you. I actually appreciate that comment more than you think I appreciate it. That's just giving me a reminder. Yeah, I do need to. Thank you. I don't have the washing machine on when I'm streaming because it's right below in the kitchen, so you'd be hearing it. So 16 flat for Alonso, goes fastest. 16.6 for Stroll. Alonso was on the fresh tyres, Stroll on the not fresh tyres. Lawson goes second on a 16.649, again on scrubbed tyres, used tyres, not fresh tyres. We'll pick one. I was watching Austin Powers the other day, actually. It was on Comedy Central again. I just caught the start of it. It's one of those films where all of the Austin Powers films, one of those where I don't intend to watch it, but once I start, I kind of can't stop. 15-4 for Norris, who goes fastest. I hope I'm not alone on that one. I might be. I don't know. Here comes Piastri, purple in the middle sector, and goes quicker than his teammate, a tenth of a second. So first blood in Q3 to Oscar Piastri. However, as the track hits 38.6 degrees, that's a 12-degree difference from the start of the session. George Russell is purple in the first sector, purple in the second sector by 1,000th, and over the line he goes. George Russell, only third. George, for God's sake, you got me excited there. Third place, 1:15.6. In the end, 2 tenths off the fastest time, all lost in the final sector, 21.6 to Piastri's 21.3. Here comes Verstappen on a used set of tyres. Ooze set. Goes fifth on a 1:16.1. 8 tenths off the McLarens. 3 tenths, do you reckon? On a fresh set of softs, so 4 tenths off, might be able to sneak onto that second row. Hadjar looks... What was Hadjar doing there? I might be looking... It looks like he's punching the steering, or he's bored, I think. He's sat there because he's only got one run. And I wonder if he's annoyed at that. I don't know. I might have missed something, but he looked a bit... Yeah. Stroll's time has been deleted for track limits at turn 9. Which was a 1:16.6, so he won't be too fussed. That was on a used set, so he'll be fine with that one. I'd want Basil Exposition as my race engineer, says CPV, yeah. I haven't seen Happy Gilmore 2 yet, Sam. I'm debating whether to watch it. If you're new to the F1 word, by the way, anybody watching, we do tend to randomly wander off on tangents, but, you know, why not? I was scratching my hand on the bottom of the desk there, 'cause it's quite nice. There's a rough edge there, but anyway. I'm debating whether to watch it because it feels like a bit like Hocus Pocus 2, and that it might just be fan service, and I can't really be bothered with films like that. And I love the first Happy Gilmore. It's such a brilliant and terrible film all at once, and I really enjoy it. So I'm not sure I want to watch the second one. I might do one night. I might get maybe while I'm off for a couple of weeks, get a couple of beers and just enjoy it drunk, and it might be decent. But yeah, Hocus Pocus 2 was just total fan service, and I can't be bothered with that sort of thing. So Jackass. Jackass. Just tap it in. Anyway, we're coming up to the 5-minute mark in queue. I love you lot. I don't know. I need to keep myself on track here because you will end up anywhere. It happens. Is he? That is weird, Sam. That is very weird. Anyone thinks Max can pull out a clutch move? Says RM. Sorry, Mr. RM. Mr. Cervantes. If anyone's gonna, it'll be Max. I'm not convinced. I think even on a fresh set of tyres, he's probably... If he can get himself on the second row, I think that will be a win for Verstappen today, because that car has been... I mean, it's 1.2 off this morning. He wasn't that far off getting knocked out in Q1. He's not quick this weekend, but if anybody is going to do it, it's going to be Max Verstappen, so I'd like him to. Yeah, but it says already on the outlap, I just have, again, no grip. It's like literally driving on ice, says Verstappen. I don't want to get all Sheldon Cooper about the use of the word literally there, but it isn't. Sorry, Max. Love you, but sorry. And never apologise, Sam, for taking us off track. I'm happy for people to come in and derail the stream on random topics because, you know, we love Formula One, but let's face it, there are bits in it that are a bit flat, like in between sessions, for example, and when we're waiting for people to go for laps. So no problem derailing if that's what you want to do. But as long as it's fun, I don't like people getting like really, you know, what do you think of the government? And I'll be like, oh, let's not go there. So as long as it's fun. Happy Gilmore 2 is fine. Austin Powers, you know. I watched the country and then Sausage Party whilst me and my mate were finishing an entire bottle of JD, says RC. So by the time you watch Sausage Party, do you think that was a horrible dream or a nightmare? Not seen that, don't intend to. Yeah. Here we go. I don't understand what's going on with Aston Martin. I'm just going to say that they've stolen 2 McLarens and painted them green until I've had a look at what there is going on out there. There might be a great reason for it. It might just be, as Warren said, this is one of 3 tracks where Aston are very good. We've seen before, so maybe it just suits their cars. Alonso had a bit of a swapper on there in 4, I think, on the picture-in-picture. Certainly had a correction in there. Over the line goes Stroll. Might be a bit conservative, this from Stroll, because as he matches Lando Norris's time all but 4 thousandths, it might be a bit conservative because he's got to get this lap in, but that's a good lap from Stroll. 15.4. Fernando Alonso is on it here. He's purple in the first sector. Oh, correction at 13. That's going to cost him some time. He's really pushing hard, though, is Fernando, as track temperature continues to fall dramatically. And Alonso goes second on a 1:15.481. In fact, Fernando's in the crowd. How's that? I thought it was Fernando Alonso in the crowd there, celebrating his own lap. Time traveller confirmed. That's put the cat among the pigeons, hasn't it? Who had McLaren, Aston Martin on their bingo card today? And if you say you did, you're a liar. It's as simple as that. Obviously, Lando's got to get his lap in yet. There's only 100th of a second between them. You'd fancy Norris to get second place, but Alonso has a real shot here at third. He's a 10th and a half clear of Russell. It's a good lap, says Alonso. That was a pretty good lap, I say. Good job, says his engineer. That was a good lap. Yeah, well done. That is fine, Fernando, you know. And that was with 2. I definitely saw the correction at 13. I think there was one up at turn 4 as well. So there's probably even more time in there for Fernando, but obviously unlikely to improve from here now, because even if he charges his batteries and gets to go again, his tyres have had their life taken out of them, haven't they? So track temperature down to 35.8. Am I reading too much into that? That feels, a 15-degree drop in session feels quite dramatic, track temperature-wise. Cloud cover, I suppose, and things like that, but it just feels quite dramatic. So I think that's why we've got such a mix in the top 10. Is Stroll going to go again? He's pitted, so he won't go again. Here we go. Lando Norris is going to spoil every Spaniard's day now. And every Fernando Alonso fan's day, including the one in the grandstand. Yeah, only 800ths, Kevin. Nothing in it. Here goes Norris. Norris is 700ths down on Piastri and not improving. Just hang on a second. Is he saving it all for that middle sector? Charles Leclerc's gone purple in the middle sector. I'm not going to get excited. I'm a Ferrari fan. I know where this is going. Leclerc's gone fastest. Aha, reverse jinx worked. McLaren's are not improving. Charles Leclerc has come out of nowhere. In fact, Norris is not going to get Charles Leclerc here. In fact, I don't think, unless he has a really strong final sector, he's going to get Alonso. What has this massive drop in temperature? He might get Alonso. This is all about the final sector. Over the line goes Norris. He does get Alonso, but not by a lot. 800ths. Norris is third. Piastri isn't improving. He isn't going to go ahead of Leclerc unless this final sector is ridiculous. And it's not ridiculous. So it is Charles Leclerc out of nowhere on pole position. But Max Verstappen, 27.6, 2/10 down on Leclerc. So he might get himself in a mix-up there. He's not going to get pole as Bortoletto goes 7th. Russell is on a better lap as well. I'm all nervous now. Verstappen taking it from Leclerc wouldn't be the end of the world. I think, yeah, Verstappen's 3/10 down, so it's not going to be that. That's still going to be, it's only going to be 6th for Verstappen, you know. In fact, Verstappen, if he has a bad final sector, God knows, but Russell is 4th. Alonso drops to 5th. Boo. Boo, Russell. Terrible. Max Verstappen will not deny Charles Leclerc. He only goes 8th. 8th fastest for Verstappen. Charles Leclerc, out of seemingly nowhere, has got pole position. McLaren had it in the bag. Yeah. Wow. How are McLaren... Well, Charles Leclerc is how McLaren aren't on pole. But... Martin Brundle says that Norris was 6/10 slower than in Q2. And we didn't get into 14s, did we? 15.3. Wow. Yeah, that doesn't seem that quick, does it? But it doesn't matter. He's on pole position. Charles Leclerc on pole. I'm glad I waited until Monday to record my Leclerc summer break video, because we could be having a slightly different discussion in there, or adding a bit more to it. So there you go. But yeah, Charles Leclerc pole position. I'll say it again. So yeah, I celebrated, but you know, wasn't expecting that. Hamilton down in 12th, by the way. But that track temperature has plummeted, hasn't it? And I wonder if that's played a part in it. Maybe McLaren's better in the higher temperatures. Did the low? I mean, Ferrari were quick this morning, but I wasn't expecting. And he had a little bit of traffic, but that shouldn't have got in the way there. Was he okay through 13? A little correction halfway through there, but he's okay. He's surely going to be punching the air when he goes across the line here, because this was, I was not expecting it. Nobody was. Awesome. Great stuff. His engineer said P1 and Charles went, what? Wasn't expecting that. Yeah, great stuff for Charles Leclerc. We'll run through the order properly in a moment, but that is absolutely fantastic for Charles Leclerc. Yeah, that's all fake though, RC. I won't read too much into that. Yeah. A lot of people will disappear now from the stream, which is a shame, because we're going to have a bit of a chat, but completely appreciate you want to enjoy your Saturday and not listen to me talking nonsense for the next half an hour or so. But if you are disappearing, hopefully see you again tomorrow. Please do drop a like before you go, and subscribe if you're new as well. Lots to come. We've got the stream tomorrow from 1:30 p.m. BST. Thomas will be wrapping up the weekend from the paddock on Monday. And then, of course, we'll have the usual post-race weekend content, and then I'm on a holiday, but there will be content from me as well. So lots of stuff over the summer break. So please do sub and like before you disappear. If you're staying with me, we'll react to all of that in just a moment. We'll go through the order. We'll look ahead to tomorrow. We'll probably talk about Happy Gilmore 2. And then we'll go from there and leave it for today. But yeah, thank you for coming along, those that are disappearing now. Appreciate the support and the company more than anything. It's always nice to have other people that are just as mad as I am on a Saturday watching Formula One tuning in. So yeah, appreciate the support. So let's do... I'm going to take a drink. Take a drink. Get a drink. I'm going to have a mouthful of squash. So I'm going to go quiet for 20 seconds. Then I'll come back, do the result. Then we'll react to everything. And then we'll go from there. So count the 20 seconds. Can Sean get a personal best pit stop? Probably not. Charles Leclerc is apparently on pole position for the 2025 Hungarian Grand Prix. Did not see that coming. His final run quick enough for 15.3, which doesn't seem that quick given that we thought we'd get into the high 14s, but still managed to take pole position. He was probably more surprised than anybody else. Oscar Piastri, second place, 200ths further back, with Lando Norris in third place, only a hundredth and a half, 15 thousandths if you like off. And in fact, George Russell was only a hundredth behind Norris as well. So that top four, incredibly close. In fact, half a tenth separating Leclerc, Piastri, Norris and Russell. That is madness. We could have a good race tomorrow. Having Leclerc up there just ensures that McLaren aren't going to have it all their own way if it stays dry tomorrow. Fernando Alonso in fifth place, a 10th off pole in an Aston Martin. His teammate Lance Stroll, 200ths if we're being harsh, behind him. Absolutely cracking performance from him. Gabriel Bortoletto as well, 7th place. What's this about? Incredible top 7, that one. I can't quite believe it. We all thought McLaren were going to run away with this. They haven't. Very close. 3/10 off pole position, Bortoletto. Max Verstappen, 3,000ths further back in, only in 8th place. But actually, given the pace in that McLaren, the Red Bull this weekend, sorry, I'm loath to admit that's probably actually a pretty decent result given where they were. Liam Lawson 9th and Isack Hadjar in 10th. So both Racing Bulls drivers through. Hopefully Hadjar can get back on the point scoring form. Ollie Bearman 11th place. Lewis Hamilton was 12th, but I believe, unless I've forgotten, but I think it was 8 thousandths of a second away from a Q3 appearance. It was really close in there. Carlos Sainz 13th, Franco Colapinto in 14th, out qualifying, of course, teammate Pierre Gasly. Kimi Antonelli did qualify 11th, but then had his lap time deleted, so he ended up 15th. Yuki Tsunoda was 16th, got knocked out in Q1, but was only a 10th of a second off Max Verstappen. So there are positives in there for Tsunoda, but ultimately still knocked out in Q1. Pierre Gasly 17th, Esteban Ocon 18th, Nico Hulkenberg 19th, and Alex Albon 20th. Alex Albon already saying in the pen that they are considering starting from the pit lane tomorrow. If it rains, it might be a smart move, but then, as we found out in Belgium, if it rains and you change your setup, you probably don't go racing anyway, so don't waste your time, Alex. May as well start there if you can, really. So, yeah, Charles Leclerc on pole. Didn't expect that at all. I keep saying it, but it came out of nowhere. I don't want to take anything away. Again, 15.3 doesn't seem that quick compared to where we thought we'd be, so have track conditions just played into Ferrari's hands a little more than McLaren? Probably. Had we stayed in the higher temperatures, McLaren were gone, weren't they? They were comfortably clear of everybody else. So this has made tomorrow interesting. I touched on it in the preview. If it stays dry, no one's stopping McLaren. They would just disappear. And if they locked out the front row, that job becomes even easier, doesn't it? Yes, they've got to manage their drivers. Yes, they've still got to deal with strategy and anything like potential safety cars. But having Leclerc there now makes that tougher, because they need to obviously get past him, and it's not an easy track to pass on. You've got the long blast down the straight and a run to turn 2, but as we saw in Formula 2 and as we've seen plenty of times in F1, it's not easy to defend at turn 2, but you can defend down there, and it's not an easy corner to pass at. And even turn 1 isn't the easiest place to pass. So if Leclerc can keep them at bay for as long as possible, it might just give us a bit of a surprise tomorrow. If the McLarens, though, swamp him into turn 1, don't forget last year there's a great shot on XPB, actually, of Verstappen on the outside and the two McLarens on the inside pretty much level as they hit the apex of turn 1. That's how it can go in turn 1. So they might swamp him and then they'll disappear. But Leclerc's pole lap has made tomorrow more interesting than perhaps it was going to be. So that's good to see. George Russell as well is in the mix. I mean, half a tenth off pole. That's got to be agonising for a driver, hasn't it? You look at that. Fernando Alonso a tenth of a second off pole position in Aston Martin. He'll be thrilled with 5th. But I bet he sat there thinking, oh, if I hadn't had that moment in turn 4, and if I hadn't had that moment in correction in turn 13, would I have been on the front row? Could I have got pole? But also so close, and such a great lap as well from Fernando. I was so pleased to see him up there, and great to see Aston going well. I hope it's not a track specific thing. I suspect it might be, but I hope it's something they can carry on into Zandvoort and Monza. Probably not Monza actually, but the likes of Singapore, high downforce. We'll see. But yeah, really happy with that grid. We've also got cars out of position. I was going to say Tsunoda, but is he really? Antonelli's got to come through. Hamilton's got to come through. Bortoletto. Do you know what? I was going to say Bortoletto's out of position. He's not anymore, is he? Top 10 is where Sauber have been largely for the last few races. So I'm not going to say that he's out of position there at all. So that's going to be fun. Verstappen as well, I think, will be quicker in the race in theory, but we'll see. I don't know what the weather's doing tomorrow. Let's have a quick look actually at the weather. Hungaroring weather. Ooh, spicy. Nah, maybe not. So rain in the morning. Very much expected. Around a 20% to 30% chance of rain. Any rain falling. So that could be anything from a couple of drops to an absolute deluge. At 3 o'clock, which is local time, is lights out. So rain is in the air again tomorrow, which could mix things up. But we'll have the debate again another day, I'm sure. But because it'll happen again, probably next year in Spa. But as we know, just because it rains doesn't mean we're going to get an exciting race, does it? Because it might not happen until it dries out. So still good. Still good. I bet you Norris will claim it on turn 1, providing he doesn't choke off the line, says Adrian. I sound really harsh now on Lando, but that last line probably tells you all you need to know. Provided he doesn't choke off the line. He is... I think it's an unfair thing on Lando, actually. He has choked on the line a few times, hasn't he? But it's not... People talk like it's every weekend, and it's not every weekend, but just when it matters, he has done in the past. So, yeah. What time is it at time of streaming? Says Carrie or Carrie. Is it Carrie or Carrie? I'll say Carrie. I think Carrie. I might be wrong. 1:30 p.m. Yes, 1:30 p.m. UK, so BST. Half an hour before the race start. I used to go live when I first started doing it, like an hour before the race start, but I found that it's a long time to fill. Not so bad if I had a co-commentator, I suppose, but a lot of time to fill. So I guess you guys are my co-commentators, really. So Bortoletto, best rookie, P7. Yeah, best rookie today. He's not best rookie at the moment this season. I'd still give that to Hadjar. But I tell you what, if Bortoletto, we're all going to declare, and I will admit now that in the video I'm doing over the summer break on Hadjar, I have declared him as, at the moment, Rookie of the Year. But I think if Bortoletto keeps doing this, there might be a conversation to be had towards the end of the season about that one. So he might be changing a few people's minds. But great stuff from Gabriel Bortoletto. Really good to see him up there. And again, it's not just the P7. He's out-qualified Nico Hulkenberg again. And Nico Hulkenberg, I don't need to remind you, is not some average, terrible driver who's just been bundled in there with cash and a bit of a rookie. He's been around a long time and is in fact, actually, among his peers, other F1 drivers, they see him as one of the best on the grid. I know a lot of fans won't agree with that, but I'm going to take the word of a Fernando Alonso over Frank724285 on Twitter. So, yeah. Everyone's entitled to an opinion, of course they are, but yeah. Brazilian Grand Prix is going to be wild if Sauber continues to perform, says Pascal. Yeah, I've seen some Brazilian flags in the chat, which is awesome. I love to see that. And German drivers, when we have no German driver or no Brazilian driver, it doesn't feel right. That there needs to be one in the sport. And maybe one day there'll be no British drivers and everyone will go, yay, and they'll be like, but it'll still feel weird, you know. We want to see lots of nationalities in F1, of course we do, but it's just not right without a Brazilian driver. When Massa retired the second time in proper time, it was weird not having a Brazilian driver for a while, so it's great. And it's great seeing Colapinto there as well, the South American representation. It's good. Very happy with that. So, my weather app says rain overnight and less than a 9% chance of rain during and before race time. This is the trouble, Neelish. When I do the preview, I tend to pick the middle ground. So, I mean, I suppose I could work out as an average thinking about it now. Might start doing that. But I'll look at 3 or 4 forecasts, and then I'll look at the one that's sort of in the middle of them. And on Thursday, there was talk of 90% chance of the race being wet. And then there were other apps saying there'll be no rain whatsoever. And you're like, well, I'm sure you all use different modelling, different models for your data and things. But come on, how can it be 90% or nothing? Surely there's got to be somewhere. So it's a little bit annoying, but that's why I don't really commit to the forecasting previews anymore. I just put it in there. This is the latest, but it's going to change. Yeah. Should every wet race have Coming in the Air Tonight by Phil Collins in the background? Imagine the drums kicking in as the green lights go on. Could do. Or, as the rain starts to fall, the Exorcist theme tune. And then just a camera focus on the crowd going, oh no, not a 4-hour delay. Hello, darkness, my old friend, and all that. How do you think Aston will do, says Matthew. Yeah, get your questions in. We'll do some predictions as well shortly. How do you think Aston will do tomorrow? They seem to have pace, to be fair, Matthew. They did on long run pace as well. They were okay. So I think they can get a double points finish tomorrow. And that sounds really obvious from 5th and 6th, and that doesn't maybe sound very exciting. But I think they're going to have a fight with Bortoletto. I'd fancy, even though I know the car's bad this weekend, and you might argue this season, but I still fancy Verstappen to end up top 5 tomorrow. You know what he's like. So I think our really exciting fight behind the leaders is going to be Alonso, Stroll, Bortoletto, and then the Racing Bulls. So I think they have a chance of being 7th and 8th tomorrow, or somewhere around there, or at least a double points finish. So, and that would be great, because that would just spice that battle in the midfield up as well again, wouldn't it? So I think a podium would be a stretch, if I'm honest, unless, again, it depends. If it rains, get a bit of drama, well-timed safety car, they'll be in the mix. But I think double points is the realistic target. But if you want me to be bold in my predictions and hopes, then I'd love to see Alonso up on that podium, and Stroll as well, to be fair. But just unless something happens, I don't see it. But Exactly, yeah. There is that possibility, says Yinka there, of a 2021 defence from Alonso. We saw what he did for Ocon. Well, he did it for himself, didn't he? But also for the team and for Ocon in Hungary in 2021, the way he kept Lewis Hamilton behind for so long. So he could do that tomorrow to Verstappen or to those that are going to try and get through. So they've got a shot at double points, is my slightly boring but realistic prediction for Aston tomorrow. I'd quite like more, though, but yeah. Undertaker theme when the clouds come over, says Sighted Canvas. Sauber are fast this year. They are indeed. Sunset Cat. A surprise as well. They were kind of nowhere. Well, not nowhere, but they weren't really showing much initially. And then they got this update. Was it for Spain? And all of a sudden, it was Hulkenberg 5th in that race. And then Bortoleto got his first points. And obviously, Hulkenberg got his podium finally. And it's just continued to just be a quick car, delivering some great results. And both drivers are doing a good job. But Bortoleto's been... one of the... I think Bortoleto, by the end of this season, if he keeps this up, will be, at worst, second rookie of the year. Unless Antonelli really steps up, so... Neelish says the aero drivability upgrade. Is that what they... Is that what they have? Is that what's on the Aston, Neelish? Is it an aero drivability upgrade? I couldn't find anything from them on it. So, I'm going to check the quotes as well, see if anything's coming in from the... pen, I assume not. No. Charles Leclerc said, today is the day I don't understand anything in motorsport. Fair enough. And they were having massive problems with dirty... Oh, Sauber, sorry. It was Sauber. I didn't know if you know what the Aston had on it, but yeah, that's what's helped Sauber for sure. Are we going to see Ferrari garbage race finishing 15 seconds behind McLaren, says Sportsmade? Probably. I'm a Ferrari fan, and I know the pain. Pole position today, I'm delighted with that. I'm very happy. I celebrated when he went over the line because it was a bit of a surprise, but I'm fully aware that he may yet still end up 7th place tomorrow. I know how this goes. Charles, I want to stay on these tyres. They're really good, and I'm really quick. Box now, and then they put him on wets on a dry track. That's... very Ferrari. They did something. Where did they do that? They did something like that with Charles. Was it here where they put him on? It had been wet and they put him on the hards when it was still too wet. Or was it? I can't remember. There was some Ferrari things. Just ignore that Ferrari things. Pascal must be enjoying this year. Says Ying. Yeah, Pascal seems very happy. He's actually at the race this weekend. So he's in Budapest. So or the Hungaroring. So yeah, he's happy there. Definitely. Good way to start that one. They'll probably hand out Castle Grey School trophies on the podium after this race, says Adrian. Hulkenberg has been good, but his qualifying has been awful. Let's be honest, says J Webb. Yeah, and I guess I don't know. It depends what you value more. I mean, from a championship point of view and a financial point of view, it's the points that win prizes, isn't it? So if he qualifies 19th every weekend but finishes 8th, it doesn't really matter, does it? But then you could argue if he qualified higher, what could he do? So, yeah. Compulsory use of wet tyres on wet track, ? That's from Platilobium. Just the use of wet tyres anywhere would be nice. I had a look. So, I'll tell you, quick story time. Strap in. After the race on Sunday in Spa, I went on F1 Authentics, and I was going to buy, genuinely, for 850 quid, as you do, one of the wind tunnel tyres, but the wet version, just to put on the shelf behind me so that we could actually finally see a wet tyre. They'd all sold out, unfortunately, but it was going to be on that shelf behind me because I wanted one. Just so that we could all say that we could say, yeah, it does matter. It does matter. It does exist. Here it is. But yeah, that's my terrible story. Who cares? What happened to Hamilton? Sorry, Alonso's on TV, so he's grinning from ear to ear. We don't know yet. I didn't see his lap. I mean, Anthony Davidson theorised that his rear tyres were finished, but he was only 8 thousandths away from Q3. The thing I'm not sure about, to be honest, Rory, is that he said on the radio every time. So I'm not sure what that was referring to. So if anybody's heard anything since, please do pop it in the chat. But I'm not sure what the every time comment was. whether there was something that had happened on the lap, or whether he wasn't happy at the timing he was put out, or the traffic, or whether it was something that happened all weekend where he was losing his tyres in the final sector. I don't know. So it was that's the bit I'm more interested in than why he's 12th in some ways, because it's get so much shit for this, but it sort of, I wasn't massively shocked that he was out in Q2. I was more this weekend because of the fact that Ferrari looked quick, but Hamilton hasn't been the formidable force he once was for a while, and he's certainly not a Ferrari. So missing out on Q3 by 0.008 of a second isn't great, but it's not a disaster, and it's also not a shock. So it's a bit like Tsunoda going out. The biggest shock about Tsunoda going out today was he was only a 10th off Verstappen, but it wasn't like, oh my God, Tsunoda's out, I can't believe it. He was there, but I'm more interested in what that every time comment was. So if anyone knows, it would be appreciated, because I've not seen anything in the group chat, and I can't get on. I can't sit and go through Twitter and whatnot. So Kaori says, "Lol, Sean, good try." What have I said, Kaori? What have I done? Just by the way, we'll do another 10 minutes or so, but CPB is top of the top fans list with RC in P2. That was a mouthful. And Kevin in third. So there you go. I'm not sure what I've done. Keris is out of Q3 in Hungary for Lewis is wild. He's won here 8 times, so I get the point, but again, we're not talking about Hamilton on great form at the moment, are we? So Hamilton out in Q2, not wild. Maybe for Hungary it's a bit of a shock because it is a track he's gone well at, but if Hamilton had qualified 9th, I wouldn't be sat here going, oh my God, that's terrible. And that's kind of, if he found those 0.008 of a second, he may well have ended up there. But then, having said that, track temperature coming down, if he'd been in Q3, would we have an all Ferrari front row? Yeah, I'll look into the Lewis Hamilton stuff and see if, in fact, actually, you know what? He just heard me. He's on TV and he looks absolutely pissed off. This is me every time. I am going to go quiet for a second and listen to this. Sorry. I hate dead air, but... He says he's useless in qualifying. Wow. No problem with the car. As you've seen, it's on pole. His problem, his fault, he's useless is what he said. Wow. Do you know, actually, that's more shocking than me getting knocked out in Q2 was the fact he's come out and said he's useless. Yeah. I think the thing there is, like, if there's... I know that he went out in Spa in both SQ1 and Q1, but if there's one thing I'd never expect Lewis Hamilton to describe himself as useless at, it's qualifying. But then again, am I still, you know, mentally living in the days of the formidable Lewis Hamilton, you know, when he was dominating? Maybe that's still there. A bit like, you know, Michael Schumacher came out with Mercedes and people were like, oh, he's going to win a world championship. No, he's not. He was never going to, but you still wanted to believe it because it was Michael Schumacher. So, but no, that's a surprise. Useless is a strong word. And that's what the every time thing was. Basically, from what I understood from that, every time it's me was what he was saying. So I don't like seeing drivers down like that. It was sad seeing Kimi Antonelli a bit flat as well after Spa, and then sort of a driver like Lewis Hamilton to come out and be like that. You think, oh dear. Sorry, slightly lighter way to look at it in a way, I suppose. I don't know if you meant to be, but Yinka says, is Shao having an effect on Lewis? Lewis starting with the I am stupid stuff, maybe. She gave him crap at the start, so he was being sarcastic, says Warren. I don't know if he was being sarcastic. He certainly... Do you know what? The power of modern day TV. I can rewind it and we can listen to the first question, but I didn't see... I didn't know what she said at the start, actually. I didn't actually hear the question. I just was telling her to go quiet. If this comes over the headphones, might get taken out now, but yeah. I don't think she was giving him shit. I think that was a fact. The second question was a bit stupid. Is it your qualifying form? Well, duh, it's qualifying, and he's just got knocked out. So, I mean, that was a bit of a stupid question, but I don't think she was giving him grief. Unless you're talking about somebody else and I'm just completely missing it, Warren. But, yeah. Still, it's a strong word to use, isn't it? So, yeah, genuinely deflated is how... Deflated is a good word as well, CPB. Anyway, any more questions? Let's start throwing them around. We'll get into... We'll talk about Lewis Hamilton another time. I need to go read away. Lewis Hamilton's on the list of drivers where I have to double check things before I come out and say anything, because otherwise it's just from the internet. You know what I mean? The calls will turn up and then I'm in trouble. Pile on time. But yeah, although most of them are blocked, so I shouldn't really worry too much about it. But happy for Leclerc. Shout out to Stroll too. Do you think Alonso's lack of winning made him age slower? Says Nilesh. Yeah, desperate to win again, so he just doesn't age anymore. Why is it wrong to say how he feels? It's wrong to blame others, and he doesn't do that. I didn't say it was wrong, Alex, to be fair. I'm just saying it's a strong word to use, unless you're responding to somebody else. I didn't say it was wrong. It's just surprising to hear him say it so bluntly. I don't think it's wrong to say that. I've said this a million times before. I'd much rather a driver came out and went, I'm useless, or I'm pissed off, or this is crap, or this person's terrible, than some sort of PR line. So certainly not... me saying that. It was someone in chat, was it? That's fine. I just wanted to just clarify that, so anyone might think I was saying it's wrong, because you know, I like the drivers to be open and honest, but it's still sad to see people like that. Maybe make a Hamilton video at the end of the season to avoid criticism, says Dane. Yeah, do it in the middle of January when no one cares about F1. I could do. To be fair, for a video on Hamilton's season, it probably is better to wait until the end of the year and have all the information where Ferrari have been and a full comparison before diving into it. It's also a bit more time to really look at it, because again, he's one of those drivers where I have to make sure I get things right, otherwise yeah, because you can't have an opinion anymore. So let's get into this again. There'd be an interesting discussion, actually, or that would be an interesting discussion. Do you prefer drivers as they are nowadays, more human and less bulletproof, or the unreachable superheroes who daren't show weakness of the past? I feel there's a both situation in there, though, isn't there, Fud? There are drivers out there who didn't show weakness, but still were very honest about what they... Maybe not completely honest, but they were still honest. I mean, Senna... Oh, well, I was going to say, Senna's honest, but he also lied, didn't he, about... lied is maybe a harsh word, but misrepresented a situation. When you look at the Prost collision in 1990, so, I mean, you know... Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, maybe it's a debate for another day. It's a good one. Maybe we'll do a stream, if not in the summer, then maybe in the winter. Sit down for a couple of hours and compare drivers of old, drivers of new. What do we prefer, maybe? But I just like a driver to just tell us that they're peed off or they're happy. Like Leclerc's reaction when he's like, "What?" over the radio to get in pole. I'd rather that than, "Yeah, great job, guys. We go again tomorrow." Like, oh, cool. Who wrote that for you? We need more Finns and Germans. Yeah, Kimi Räikkönen. Yeah, we need more Kimi. I prefer the drivers from the past. They're made for great drama, says a Yinka. Ferrari needs a new driver. Maybe they could get Lance Stroll, says Gizzy. I would stop watching if it was all cardboard PR, non-personality garbage, says Alex. It was getting that way a while ago. It felt like, and it was a bit sort of, do we have to do this? You could almost preempt what was going to be said in the pen, and I feel like with things like Drive to Survive, social media, I feel like drivers are able to be more open now, but they still have to be careful what they say, of course. I don't know. It just took me back when he said, "I'm useless." Whatever the reason for it, it's still a bit of a surprise, but yeah. Max is the best person in F1 right now. I also like Oscar. I love how intense he seems at Silverstone. Max is old school. He does do streaming, but he turns up, races, annoys everybody in the media, and then goes home. Perfect. That's all I want. I don't need to see what a driver's having for dinner or where they went on holiday. They go racing, and that's that. I'm boring like that. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the sponsor. I was going to say, when I'm saying about being careful what you say, you know, you've got your sponsors to think of, you've got your investors to think of, you've got even like your management team to think of. You've got to be very careful in that regard and that. But I'd still rather they just said shit rather than peeing about with everything. I'm trying to find a question that isn't on Lewis Hamilton now, because we've got Charles Leclerc on pole, and to be fair as well, that's a good point from Lewis Hamilton when he was the question was put to him. It's not the car's on pole, so yeah, I'm glad as well actually. Sid, while you say that, I'm actually really glad that rule was sort of, the swearing rule and the not being able to say what you want rule was kind of peeled back a little bit, not quite as, or brought back a bit, so it's not quite as rough, but drivers should be free to say what they want to say. But again, as people have pointed out in chat, including Platolobium, it's always been a case that you have to think about your sponsors. But yeah, I guess more sponsors now as well, aren't there? But anyway, let's think about something else. Hamilton shot retirement. Who does Ferrari sign to replace him? Says Nilesh question mark. That's one for another day, definitely. I rarely watch pre or post show coverage. I mostly just show up for the race, and YouTubers who tend to focus on the racing. Says a Hap Rust. Yeah, it depends who the pundits are on Sky for me. You can read into that however you like, but hey, I like you. I don't want some driver taking a knee to protest my president. I don't want some PC please telling me about some climate crap. Get in the car and drive, like Max says. Gizzy. General G says, do you think Oscar takes the lead turn 1? I hope not. I'll tell you for why. I'll tell you for why. If Piastri takes the lead in turn 1 and Norris gets stuck behind Leclerc, Piastri's just going to vanish. And that's not fun. It's great because, as I've said before, whilst I'm not going to be angry or upset if Lando Norris wins the title, I'd be very happy for him. Because it's been so long since our last Australian world champion, I'd like Piastri to do it. So from that point of view, that'd be great. From an entertaining race point of view, and by entertaining I mean, you know, close racing, maybe some wheel-to-wheel action, maybe even some overtaking between the leaders, that's not good because Piastri will just disappear. The ideal world tomorrow, Leclerc can keep them behind for a good half of the race, if not the whole race. Why not? Let's dream. And that keeps Russell and Alonso and maybe Verstappen, Bortoletti, whoever, in play, in the sense that McLaren can't pull the trigger on strategy too early because they'd fall into traffic and that's going to compromise them. So that kind of limits what they can do. And we end up with one of those really clever tactical races and they've got to think outside the box, and maybe Leclerc optimizes everything tomorrow and he uses all his battery on the straight to fend them off in DRS, which means that Piastri or Norris, whoever's P2, has got to try something into turn 14 or turn 13, something different. Think outside the box rather than just a nice, easy DRS to overtake down the straight. I know I'm in dreamland. I'm fairly confident tomorrow, based on their pace on Friday, that the McLarens will get past Leclerc in a few laps and will just vanish between them. But I just want to see a bit more of a scrap. So I hope not. It would be nice. I wonder if I find that photo. I know you've probably already seen it, but let's see if I can find it anywhere. I've probably already deleted it because my SSD is nearly full. I really need to have a clean up over the winter. It's not the winter. Over the summer break. It better not be the winter break, otherwise I have overslept massively. But like I said, there is a great shot somewhere on XPB of, yeah, it's there. Let me pop it on the... I forgot how to do this now. Bear with me a second. You've probably already seen it and you'll be like, yeah, Sean, we know, we don't care, mate. But I'm just going to pop it in here if I can. Because it's a really cool photo. And I can see this being the case into turn 1 tomorrow. Or I hope this is the case into turn 1 tomorrow. Can you tell I'm trying to multitask? It's great fun, this. There we go. And then I'm going to transition. That made a noise. That just made a noise. I have no idea what is going on here, but something's making noise. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That is the photo I was talking about. It's turn 1 last year. That's the kind of thing I'd like to see. Honestly. That would be cool. That's it. I don't know what the music was. I don't know where it was or why it was. It was Daxton. That's fine. Yeah, sorry. I don't know why it was doing that, but yeah, there we go. That's it. That was it. That was all I wanted to show you. That's what I wanted to turn on tomorrow, but Leclerc to come out on top. Anyway, sorry about that. The music might be a bit loud there, so apologies. I didn't realise it was still on there. I was playing about with something the other day, but yeah, there we go. That was it. There's nothing else. Really not that interesting. You probably sat there going, did I just waited 5 minutes for you to show me something I'd already seen? But it's a cool photo. It's a bit like there's one as well at Austria, which I won't go find, of I think it was a Racing Bull, a Haas, and an Alpine side by side in turn 3. And that was, of course, the battle in the constructors last year, wasn't it? So that was overused by me. But anyway. Any more? Let's get some questions in then. I said let's do predictions, actually. Forget questions. Top 3 for tomorrow. Who are you going with? Leclerc on pole, Piastri second, Norris third. My prediction on Thursday was... What was my prediction on Thursday, everyone? Piastri win, Norris second, Verstappen third. I shall revise that. And I'm going to go bold. Stick with me for bold, by the way, because it won't sound bold. I'm going to go Piastri for the win. I'm going to say Norris P2. Oh, how bold. But I'm actually going to go with Alonso P3. I don't think he will, but why not? Just let's hope we get a little bit of drama, something happens, and before you ask, why not Leclerc? I'll tell you why not Leclerc, because he may have put it on pole today with an excellent lap, but he's still got Ferrari strategists in control, so he'll probably end up 9th. I have no faith at all in those strategy people at Ferrari, and I hope I'm wrong tomorrow. But yeah, why not? Piastri, Norris, and Alonso. I don't think Alonso will. I think he'd need some luck, but I wasn't expecting him to be 5th and his teammate 6th today. So anything can happen in Formula One, and it usually does, except it doesn't. But you know, Murray was always optimistic. So Bottas had a really bad start from P2 before he went bowling. Got it, says Nilesh. Yes. Yes, qualifiers are over. Sorry, I missed you first time. Yeah, they are over. Leclerc on pole, Piastri second, Norris third, sorry. Russell fourth, Alonso fifth, Stroll sixth, Bortoletto 7th, Verstappen 8th, Lawson 9th, and Hadjar in 10th place. Prediction, Leclerc will be the most at the back of the grid due to the car being underweight. There'll be something CPB that goes wrong. It's just Ferrari things, isn't it? Ayinka has gone with Leclerc, Oscar, and Norris as the top 3. So, not expecting much to happen at the front then tomorrow, Ayinka. It is a tough track to pass on. There are opportunities, but it is tricky. We saw it in the F2 as well. Although, was it Alex Dunn's move on Lindblad was pretty bloody nice today in the sprint. That was a lovely move into turn 1. Very late on the brakes. I have 2 predictions, says Fudd. Norris, Piastri, Alonso, normal race. My actual prediction is Leclerc, Alonso, Verstappen. Both McLarens out lap 1. That could be interesting. Platalobium says Piastri win, Leclerc second, Alonso third. I like the Leclerc on the podium there. I'll take that one tomorrow for sure. Max's undies for the win, safety car second, Stroll for third to claim the spoils of war. I'm sorry, Adrian. I love... If people are just tuning in, they're like, what? We know that Verstappen threw a towel on track yesterday, but Adrian's decided it was his underpants, and it just makes it funnier. And it just puts an image in my mind that I just don't need, but it's still hilarious. So Adrian gets a lot of love from me for that one, because I do quite like that image. Pascal says Leclerc, Piastri, Russell, and good points for Bortoletto. That'd be fun. Russell top 3 is an interesting one. I'm intrigued what you think happens to Norris. Maybe bad strategy or a problem or mistake. Mudley Talker, legend, loved him and Jason. Mudley Talker is great. Is that Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, and Russell? You've put OJ. You probably always put OJ, and I haven't picked up before. But yeah, Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, and Russell. Sid says Ferrari puts full wets on the car in the dry tomorrow. It could happen. It could happen. Yeah, on the weekend that Vasseur was re-signed as well. Yeah, definitely. Kaori says, yes, it was definitely Oscar Piastri. A floating pair of tighty whitey, says Nilesh. Yeah, mistake Norris being Norris. It's I think it was Stuart on... What's that other app? You've got Twitter for one side of the political spectrum, and then you've got the other one. What's it called? Blue Sky. You can see it's already in the lingo. He put that, Norris was still flappable, or Oscar Piastri was unflappable and Norris was still flappable. The amount of crap he got for that from some people, Oh, Piastri made a mistake in Silverstone. Oh, yeah, that's the same as 3 in 1 race. I totally agree with Stuart's point. All drivers are going to make mistakes, but you can't afford to be making 3 mistakes in a race if you want to fight for a world championship. Norris may still come out on top in this battle, but he's got to iron them out, and he knows that. He doesn't need people to tell him that. So I don't think Stuart's comments were that controversial, but there you go. Cue the Benny Hill theme at Ferrari. Yeah. Oh, God. I don't know if anybody uses Blue Sky, by the way. I have an account on there, but really just so I can spy on people because I'm nosy. Yeah. It'll end up the same as all of them. They always do. So, yeah. How to Train Your Dragon is available on Sky Store now if you wanted to know. Apparently, that's really good. The new one. Anyway, back to the point. Any more predictions before we wrap up today? Platalobium is just on Facebook, apparently. I use Facebook. I don't know if you need Facebook anymore for Messenger. You used to have to, so I just still have it. But I'll doom scroll on Twitter a bit and then get really annoyed. Not that I can see an awful lot at 39, nearly 40 years old now in the UK. Just saying. You know. No, we're not. Stop, Sean. No. I am a Norris fan, but he is mentally the weaker driver of the two for sure, says Fudd. I personally think his highs are higher, but he's much more prone to mistakes. Yeah. Yeah. George Russell chatting to Sky there. Yeah. Actually, just on that point, I'm not dodging the point, but just on that, Norris has had some very high highs, hasn't he, in his career, to be fair. Not just in his Formula One career, his junior career as well. So, yeah. I think that's fair. And the thing is as well, he's a rapid driver, so you know, between now and Abu Dhabi, Piastri will make mistakes. Between now and Abu Dhabi, Lando Norris will make mistakes. And so we could come to a situation where he's in it and can win it, you know, just can't afford 3. I'm not saying he would have won in Belgium without his mistakes, but he certainly cost himself a shot at it, didn't he? So, no, you know, to be fair, with Platalobium here, I think actually Facebook's a bit livelier than people realise. It isn't what it was when it was first. Well, when it was very first launched, it's nothing like what it was. But when it became a more social media site, it's not what it was, but it's definitely not dead. Definitely not dead. I can tell you that from the Planet F1 stuff. A lot of people on there. Oh, there's a lot of people on there. A lot of angry people on there. In the Norris, Russell, Albon F2 season, which one won the title? It was Russell who won the title. And I'll tell you a little story quickly before we round off for today. And to be clear, because Lando Norris is going to be the next Lewis Hamilton with social media, in that you can't say anything about him unless it's to kiss his backside. But I'm not having a go at Lando here, but I remember a conversation with Dan. Do you remember Dan? I miss Dan. After they've been promoted, I said to him that I thought that Lando Norris was a faster driver, but George Russell over a season in identical cars would win the championship because I thought he was the better driver over a season. Dan completely disagreed, and I think he never wanted to talk to me again after that statement. But I still think, I mean, Norris has come a long way from there, so maybe it's a different situation, but I'd still maybe argue that point now, but I need to see a bit more Russell versus Norris for a commit to that. But that was my view when they entered F1. I felt Russell was the better driver over the course of a season, but Norris was the quicker. So, yeah. I told you, be careful with Bortoletto. The way he beat Hulkenberg is simply brilliant. For me, he's the best rookie of the season, even ahead of Antonelli and Hadjar with a much inferior car. The inferior car thing's a fair argument as well. Like I said earlier, the Bortoletto, come the end of the season, if he carries on as he is, at the moment, a lot of us, obviously not you, but a lot of us are declaring Hadjar Rookie of the Year. But I think if Bortoletto carries on by the end of this season, there's going to have to be a vote there and a debate about it, because he's doing a fantastic job. And like I say, in an inferior car. It is a better car now than it was at the start of the year, but that shouldn't take away from the job he's doing. Plus, he's growing. I think he's growing into the sport as well. Hadjar feels like he belongs. I'm just pulling lines straight from a video now, aren't I? But Hadjar already feels like he belongs. Bortoletto's starting to feel like that now. So he's doing a great job. And up against Hulkenberg, like you say, that's not an easy task. So I agree with you. I very much agree with you there. Yeah. I'm going to stop on rookies because otherwise I might as well not bother making a Hadjar video and just clip all this up. But Lando's a bit too polite to him properly. He needs to be ruthless in his approach to sighted canvas. Leroy says, let's go Leclerc's. Yes. Pole position. I couldn't believe that. Simple logic makes fragile people crumble. Sean and I agree. King George Russell better than Norris if they're in the same car. I mean, it's not the same car, but I mean, Russell came out on top in F2, didn't he? In what are pretty much spec cars, aren't they? So, Pascal's happy with Bortoletto at Sauber, or glad to have Bortoletto at Sauber. Bortoletto's blooming in an environment where young drivers are given time. Good point. Hadjar doesn't have that luxury, sadly. Yeah, Sauber do like to bring through young talent, and they do, like you say, they nurture them. Nurture, horrible word. If McLaren and Mercedes are by far the best two teams next year, could George Horse be a dark Russell for the world title in 2026? Says CPV. George Horse, that's his name now. Oh no, George Horse, dark Russell. I'm not convinced McLaren will be in the title fight next year. But if Mercedes have the fastest car right now, I'd back Russell for the title over Antonelli, and I don't think that's that controversial, to be honest. Max Verstappen chatting to Sky. I love his facial expressions sometimes. He does make me laugh. He doesn't seem... What was that about? Sorry. I'm sorry. I have to listen to the question now. Skylight... Am I the only one who feels that Sky are becoming more and more tabloid? You're going to say they always have been, but... It's a bit of a random question for post-qualifying, asking about him chatting to younger drivers, and... Anyway, CP is starting. Dark Russell says that was a clean racing move. George Horsey's been popular in a current trending mobile game, I'm sure. Yeah, it's George Horse now. Do you know what, Platanobi? You're not afraid to drop an opinion. I'll ask you this. It's not like me to ask. I'm asking you questions. I'm doing the questions now. This is great. Do you think Red Bull should give Hadjar a second season at Racing Bulls rather than rushing him through to the main seat? I have a feeling most people are going to say yes, because I'm just very conscious of him being the next one that just gets burned through and ditched by the wayside in 2 years' time. Yeah. There you go. CP says no. Do you really believe that, CPB, or is that just because I said you'd say yes? Yeah, I was just intrigued to see if it was just me that had that opinion, but there you go. I was gonna say let's finish. Should we just do the final 8 minutes before we get to the hour? We may as well just finish off for the hour, hadn't we? Really? It's 8 minutes, so yeah. We've done predictions. Looking ahead to the race tomorrow. Very excited. We've done that one. We've answered loads of questions. I think from what I saw in chat, people thought Happy Gilmore 2 was a bit crap, so I might not bother with that, but I might need to be drunk to do so. So we'll see how we go. Norris still drives at 100% a lot, which means you're more likely to make mistakes. Actually, Warren, I'll read the rest of your comment in a second. That's a good point. He said this after something similar after Spa, didn't he? He said that when you're chasing the win, you have to push harder, which means you're more likely to make mistakes. So that ties into exactly what you're saying there. If you're happy to settle for second place, then you're only driving at 95% or whatever, then you're not going to make as many mistakes, are you? But if you're pushing for the win, yeah, it's a good point. Russell and Piastri both have that ability to drive at 98% and occasionally push to 100% when needed. So is that something? Do you think you can learn that, Warren? I'm asking more questions now. You guys can run the stream. I just got to sleep. But no, is that something you can teach? Can a driver learn to do that? Drive a little bit off, not off the pace, but drive at 98% and then up it when they need to? Or is Lando just going to be one of those drivers who pushes like stink for the rest of eternity. How much do we think McKees will impact Red Bull's driver mess? Will he slow things down and make things less messy, says Neelish? And then Neelish, as you can say, my last earlier question for a video. Neelish, you'll be very happy to hear, sir, that on Tuesday, the first week of the summer break, why has my calendar disappeared? Terrible. On Tuesday the 12th, there will be a video out on the Red Bull second driver dilemma for next year, and I do talk briefly in that about McKees and what role he plays there. So it is only briefly, but it's in there. So I'll say, I don't want to just spoil everything in the videos because there's no point doing them then. So watch that one in a couple of weeks' time. It'll be there. So yeah. No, I get him in there for the start of the race before they turn into completely into a pointy car for Max. Yeah, but I feel like McKees is also leaning more towards the 2-car team rather than one. I'm not saying they won't prioritise Max, because they will, because why wouldn't you? It's Max Verstappen, but McKees definitely might have a different outlook to Horner, for example, so there you go. That's my view. I just joined. What the actual heck? How is Leclerc on pole? Says Anushka. That is his reaction. His reaction over the radio was, what? I now don't understand anything in motorsport. Was basically, slightly paraphrased, what he said over the radio. So he was as surprised as us. Radical opinion, just make Red Bull a 1-car team. Max only might as well, already how it is really, and give the junior team 3 cars. They probably would if they could. I don't know if they can, but that'd be quite cool. The car is going to be crap regardless, so it doesn't matter much, says CPB. That's my hot take. I think we're going to be a little bit disappointed with next season initially, but maybe as the regulations roll on, the cars will get a bit better, but I think we're going to have a bit of a start to next year. We'll see. Just an incident, says Raj. I can't believe he's P1. I'm up there with Charlotte and Nushka with this one. I have no idea. Someone's calling me in the middle of a stream. I don't know who it is. I'm assuming some spam shit. Piastri strength is his foresight and resilience, plus he's a quick learner. Norris is damn good, but he gets easily dejected, says Adrian. Russell will do a button in 2009. Great start, hang on to the end and win it, or just one world championship. Everyone is going to struggle very badly with the next gen cars. I got no confidence they'll perform, says Cited Canvas. I'm really sceptical about next year, but I was quite sceptical about the 2014 regs, and whilst I wasn't a massive fan initially, they did improve. They did improve. So yeah, they're calling me to do a customer survey. Yeah. It's track conditions, but sorry, Norris just caught me there with his track conditions is what cost them there. So Russell says he missed pole due to a turn 14 mistake. That's from Thomas. Just trying to find out. Wasn't expecting a weekend of this level of difficulty, is what Max Verstappen has said. And that's all I've got at the moment for you on the driver stuff at this stage. But yeah. Next year will be interesting, to say the least. It'll be interesting, but yeah, that could be fun. I'd love Max and Seb in equal cars. That'd be good fun. Who do you think will get fired at the end of this season, says Maya? Probably me. I was going to get fired. Unless you mean like drivers that might be moved on. I don't think, again, last thing I'll talk about today, that I don't think there's been much of a change in the driver market. Your driver market itself, unless Hamilton does surprise us all with some news, I don't think he will. Leclerc and Hamilton a bit of Ferrari. The McLaren boys will be there. I don't see Mercedes changing their lineup. Aston Martin will still be Alonso and Stroll. I don't see why, actually, so far, why Sauber would change their lineup as they become Audi. I think it will still be Hulkenberg and Bortoletto. Really, it's the Red Bull cars that we're looking at, isn't it? And Alpine. I don't think much is going to change. Honestly. Surprises no says that's it for me, Sean. Tapping out for today, but we'll see you tomorrow. No worries, mate. Thank you very much for popping on. Thanks for your support. Make sure you drop a like before you go, and I'll see you again tomorrow for the race watch along. But I'm going to be finishing now in a second anyway. I got a voicemail. Oh, that's exciting. That's either going to be my bank or somebody claiming to be my bank, or like a family member's dead or something. That's the only time I get phone calls, is spam or death. It's really exciting when you get to my age. Gazzy and Paul Aaron says CPB is a question mark for Alpine, maybe. I'll tell you what then, I'm going to start to sign off in a second, but I'll tell you what I'll do, because Plastilovian was asked about Yuki Tsunoda's future. I don't want to talk about it in this stream, because again, I've got a video going to be out on that in a couple of weeks, so I don't want to tread on that too much, otherwise it's pointless doing it. But final question from me to you in chat. Who will be in that second Red Bull next season alongside Max Verstappen? Will Tsunoda get a chance with these new regulations and a fresh start? Will Hadjar be rushed through? Could Liam Lawson get a second chance? Or will they just go balls to the wall and put Arvid Lindblad in there? That's my question to you while I sign off. So I'm interested to see what you're all going to say in there, because that could be a fascinating opinion there. But I'll reveal what I think they should do, and what I think they actually will do, because it's different to what I think they'll do, or what I want them to do, in a couple of weeks in that video that I keep talking about. So there you go. It's got to be Stoffel. Exactly, Valentine has to be Stoffel. I'm with you on that one. Got to be stuff. While you're answering that, that is it for the qualifying watch-along for the Hungarian Grand Prix. I will be back tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. BST. That's half an hour before the start of the race, to make it a bit easier for you the race watch-along tomorrow. Thomas will be with you on Tuesday with the wrap-up from the weekend, and then we'll go from there for the rest of the week and see what there is to talk about. But yeah, looking forward to that one. Please do leave a like before you go. Really appreciate that. We did get over 100, so that's fantastic. So any extras is all a bonus now. So thank you very much for your support on that one. And do subscribe as well if you are new, to join the likes of Ivan and Germs and Katie and Tommy and Darren, who have all subscribed today. Really appreciate the support as ever. And thank you. I just spotted you in chat before I go. Clansom Sean, I now have to watch your stream back. Was out this afternoon and out this evening. Can't even see Channel 4 replay. Thanks to ever, mate. Liked and subscribed. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that. Hopefully you can get to watch the highlights. Great session. Well worth watching, and hopefully catch up with you tomorrow. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word. And until next time, goodbye.